What are some of the things that you've done to bring that experience to PC?
Well, going to PC has been awesome. Not only will it have mouse and keyboard support, but with multi-USB, we have every fan-requested wheel on the market. And it's been exciting for the team.
That's a lot of USB
it's a lot
devices.
Of wheels. Let me tell you, and we've been testing that. Last week alone, we brought in any USB device we had, and we played on a Guitar Hero guitar and a DDR pad. And it's been exciting for the team. Now, you're not going to do that on
That's not how real racing works. That's not the hyper-realistic part.
Whatever you have in your closet, plug it in, you're ready to go.
Now, what about for low-end PCs? There's obviously a lot of people who are on budget devices. I mean, what about for them? What's the optimization been like?
Well, it's been great. Going to the high end of 4K, unlocked frame rate, 21:9, but we've also lowered our min spec as well to include i5. And no matter where you play, it looks and plays great.
And speaking of looking and playing great, you're here at E3, and I understand you have some out-of-control rigs that people can actually play the games on.
Absolutely. Come by the show. We've got 2 hydraulic rigs in 4K on Ultra 4K PCs.
Hydraulic rigs? You didn't tell me that.
Yeah, bring a vomit bag and come on, check it out. It looks awesome.
Well, awesome. Bill, thanks so much for sharing with us.
Thank you. Thank you, everybody.
I'm incredibly excited of all the stuff Microsoft's doing. You just got the chance to look at Forza, and now coming onto the stage, I am replacing Bill with Ted Timmons. He's the PC design lead at Rare to talk about Sea of Thieves. Come on out, Ted.
Hey, Ashil.
Ted Timmons.
Thanks for having me.
Welcome. It's a pleasure. So, Ted, talk to me a little bit about what is Sea of Thieves.
Yeah, so we feel like we've made the pirate game you've always wanted. When you think about sailing around the open seas, you and your crew of crewmates, basically it's Pirates of the Caribbean meets the Goonies.
What are some of the things that you're showcasing here at E3 in the game?
Yeah, so for anyone who didn't see the briefing yesterday, we showed off great new features like riddle map storms and firing yourself out of cannons.
A common pirate pastime.
Yeah, pretty known.
Now, I had to ask the same question to Forza Motorsport. What are some of the things, some of the features that you've added in to focus on the PC experience?
Yeah, so we've got things like 4K, unlocked frame rates, everything you expect, but we've also brought our gameplay footage in 21:9 as well, my personal favorite.
Your favorite resolution, one of the top 3 favorite resolutions
Yeah, it's
of
probably
yours?
there with 32:9 and 16:9 as well, probably.
So, tell me a little bit more about the PC version. Obviously, it's probably a challenge to try to develop for 2 different devices at once.
Yeah, so we decided to change our approach to the game. We're actually building both versions in parallel because we felt that's how we deliver the same game on the same day.
So it's not a port from one device to the other?
Correct, yeah. We felt it was really important just to build them together from the very beginning.
Just one single code path?
One single code path, yeah.
Awesome. Well, I know a whole lot of people here are curious to get their chance to play it. Is there an official release date or an opportunity for them to play it?
Yeah, so we're coming to both platforms in early 2018, but right now we have a technical alpha. You're welcome to come sign up. We have thousands of PC players playing already, so yeah, come join us, seaofthieves.com.
Once again, Ted Timmons.
Awesome, thank you very much.
From Rare, thank you.
Cheers, guys.
seaofthieves.com. Now, this next title is one I'm personally very, very excited about, given the fact that when I took one look at the trailer, the striking visual style just grabbed me. It's an evolution of cyberpunk, a game called The Last Night. Here to talk about it is the creative director at Odd Tales. Join me in welcoming Tim Sauret.
Hello,
Pleasure,
Sean.
Tim.
Hello.
Welcome.
For me.
Thanks for coming out. Let's ask the obvious question. What is The Last Night?
The Last Night is what we call a cinematic platformer, which means it's not a game like Mario where you have to jump from platform to platform, but it's more story-driven. It's more reminiscent of old classics like Another World, Flashback, or Oddworld even.
Oddworld, I was going to say, it reminded me quite a bit about it. And I saw that you guys had the big announcement reveal at Microsoft yesterday. I mean, that trailer was such a hit. It blew up. What was that like for you guys?
Yeah, we are obviously super happy with the trailer reception. It's been absolutely incredible. Now, of course, I have some concerns I want to address. I am embarrassed by some tweets I made in the past. I want to apologize for those. They do not in any way represent who I am today or what The Last Night will be about.
Well, let's talk about what the game is about. I know that the setting of The Last Night is super important to the character of the game. Tell me, where are we right now?
I want you to imagine a world where machines are surpassing us in every possible way,
Right.
So not only physically, but also intellectually, emotionally, even creatively.
So in a sense, like any job that you could possibly imagine, an AI does better.
Absolutely.
Including being a host for a PC gaming show.
Including that.
Well, I imagine, thank you, this one person who is also excited about the booth. Now, in terms of this world, this must give a kind of sense of existential crisis to all the inhabitants.
Yeah, like the way I can.
Like, what is it like to be a person in this world?
So, you know, in a world where you're not valuable anymore in production,
Yeah.
the only thing you can really do is to consume endlessly, right?
Right.
So what you're trying to see with this game is how do you define yourself, you know, when you don't have anything to create or to strive for.
Yeah, and I can see, you know, obviously there's the futuristic lighting and the visuals, but there's also that sort of drab, dreary tone. This art style is amazing. I mean, all of these assets are in 2D, but it has so many modern effects. How did you even think of this?
So it all comes down to my background in VFX and advertising, basically. So I wanted to, you know, explore what I could do with 2D and pixel art,
Yeah.
and just augment that and enrich it with like modern techniques of lighting and compositing.
Right. You know, and we've talked a little bit about where we are, about the art style. Who are you? Who do you play as in The Last Night?
Yeah, so the character you get to play is a young idealist, I would say.
Yeah.
And because of a childhood accident, he cannot enjoy the same gamified, augmented life than everybody else.
Right.
So because of that, you know, he wants to change the world. And on
You want
his
to have
way,
like an impact and a meaning.
Yeah, absolutely. So on his way to do that, he's going to meet some questionable characters you have to trust or not on your way.
What about the gameplay? What are the things that, if I'm the player, what do I do in The Last Night?
So we took inspiration from some classic genre like point and click and adventure games.
Yeah.
But so you get, you know, to solve puzzles and dialogues, of course. But we added a real-time component to it.
Real time in what sort of sense? What makes it a real time puzzle?
So it means that, you know, while you are busy breaking in an apartment, for instance, all the simulation is still happening around you. So police come around, you know, and you have to be careful about that.
So in a sense, like if I tried to break into the apartment at night, the police might be on patrol at that time, but if I came in the morning, there might be no police, but the
Yes.
resident might be home.
Absolutely, yeah. So that means that, you know, if you see the police coming around the corner, you better, you know, just hide, pretend to be a hobo, or maybe draw your gun.
You also mentioned that the structure of the game is in one night after the other. What's that like?
Yeah, so the game is structured around several nights, so, you know, it spans on several nights, and they are all interconnected, which means that what you
See.
tell people on the very first night, you know, and what you do also is all remembered.
So if I'm just in a conversation and just walk away in the middle of it,
Yeah, they will remember it.
they'll remember like 2 days later
Yeah,
they'll be
absolutely.
angry.
Yeah.
That's fast. That must add a huge amount of replayability since the world is just changing based
Yeah,
on
we're
your
taking a lot
experience.
of pleasure. Yeah,
So if
to
I'm just
hide
in a
lot of stuff in the
conversation, just
city, and
walk
we hope the
away in the
community
middle
will
of
have
it?
fun to figure out and get that out collectively. So yeah.
Well, again, I love the art style. I love these story-driven adventure games. Thank you so much, Tim.
Thank you, Sean.
I'm
Thank
looking
you.
forward to it. Cheers.
Thank you. Bye.
Once again, that's oddtales.net for more information about The Last Night. Now, this next game surprised me. I'm sure it will surprise you because of its style. It's from the makers of Arma, the realistic military simulator, and DayZ, the zombie survival game. This one has a much more playful tone, though. Let's look at the next title from Bohemia Interactive.
It was the mother of all storms. But somehow I just knew everything was going to be... Well, being stranded on a desert island is a lot of fun. You get to meet new friends. You get in shape. And you learn how to craft. And because it's your land, it won't take long before you call that place a home. But that's just the beginning, because here you can do anything. Islands. Explore your creativity. Visit us at islands.com.
Here to join me to talk about Islands is the creative director from Bohemia Interactive. It's Alish Ulm. Welcome, Alish. It's a pleasure to have you here. Thanks for joining us today.
Thanks, Sean. Thanks, Sean.
What kind of game is Islands?
Okay, so Islands is a sandbox game about survival and exploration, but at the same time, in Islands, you can create your own games, your own adventures, just like the ones we've shown in the video.
Yeah.
Actually, Islands stands for your lands, lands that you create where you make the rules.
And it's almost like a sandbox game, not where you're necessarily building a structure, but you're trying to build an experience.
Yes, exactly.
And I have to ask, given the fact that the style of it contrasts so sharply with Arma and Daisy, what is it about Islands that still makes it a Bohemia game?
Yeah, we get this a lot, but actually beneath the surface there are still the core values that make up a Bohemia game.
Yeah.
It's still about exploration and finding out how things work, about creativity and imagination. And just like Arma or Daisy, we're trying to create a platform to connect players with each other when they play online or when they create something new and share it with the community.
And I know that modding is a legendary part of
Yes.
Bohemia's history. What are some of the lessons that you've learned from Arma, learned from Daisy, and brought to modding in Islands?
Well, we have our own editor. It's not a standalone application. It's a part of the game.
Oh, really? I mean, I'd assume that it was just outside like all other editors.
Now, we would like players to be able to prototype their creations really quickly.
Yeah.
And so in the editor, the players can obviously create something new, but they can also decide to open and modify existing games, ones that we created or ones that other players made for them.
Yeah, I mean, we got the chance to see some scenarios in the initial trailer. Like, those are the ones that you're referring to.
Yep.
That is fantastic. I mean, tell me a little bit about what it is that we're seeing right here on screen.
Well, this is just some random multiplayer game. There are two guys. Initially, there were three. I think one just like fell down the bridge. They are trying to get some kind of treasure, and yeah, they are setting the explosives.
Mm-hmm. I mean, I want to ask about, I know you guys are here at E3. Hey, look, it's the treasure. I know you guys are here at E3. What are some of the things that players can get their hands on at this event?
Well, we'll be showing some of the games that we created with the Islands game editor, but at the same time, we'll be showing how they can use the editor to create those games.
That's awesome. And I mean, I know there's a way for people to play right now, is that right?
Yeah, actually, they can already play the alpha version of the game. It's available as a part of our Bohemia Incubator program. They can find more information on our website, islands.com. And later this year, we are coming to Steam Early Access.
That's awesome. And remember, that's islands.com with a Y. We're good. You can remember that. So I want to say, Alish, thank you so much for coming out to
Thanks
talk
for
about
having us.
Islands. It's been a pleasure. And of course, I hope you're as excited as I am to come up with some total nonsense when I sit down to play. Our next world exclusive is going to be up in the mezzanine with Sonia.
Thank you, Sean. I am so honored to be a part of this world-exclusive reveal from developers Clay. You might recognize their name from games like Don't Starve or Don't Starve Together for lonely folk like myself. And last year at the PC Gaming Show, they actually revealed their sci-fi colony sim game, Oxygen Not Included. And this year, they are back. And they are back with a bang. And I am so excited to reveal their upcoming sci-fi RPG game. It is called Griffland. Games like Don't Starve or Don't Starve Together for lonely folk like myself. And last year at the PC Gaming Show, they actually revealed their sci-fi colony sim game, Oxygen Not Included.
several months ago, and I was immediately hooked, so I can't wait to talk about it with the creative director from Ready at Dawn. It's Rue Virasuria to talk about Lone Echo. Welcome, Rue.
Thank you.
It's good to have you here. Now, Rue.
Yeah.
I've gotten the chance to play Lone Echo, but a lot of people here maybe haven't seen it or heard of it. Just walk us through what is the game.
So the game, the Lone Echo, is a single player experience in VR where you play a cybernetic AI on a mining station in the rings of Saturn, and basically in the game you're allowed to move in zero G freely. You can interact with everything inside the environment, and also you'll see that you have an NPC that you can interact with. You can use your hands basically to go everywhere you need to go.
This was the thing that was so amazing for me. You stand still, and then you use your arms to grab onto objects in the environment, to push and pull yourself around. And it was really amazing to move that way. I've never seen this before.
Exactly. I mean, that's basically where the genesis of the project was. We built the mechanic to build the game. So the mechanic was this idea that came from watching ISS space station astronauts, moving around. And we just basically made this motion that allows you to navigate using your hands just like you would use your legs.
So it's been a few months since I got the chance to play. What's been happening in terms of the single player? Here you got some fancy new voice actors lined up.
Yeah, we did actually. When we wrote the story for it, we actually had an actor in mind, somebody that a lot of people out there know, Troy Baker, and Troy decided to take on the role for the AI.
And of course, another thing that we get the chance to talk about is the multiplayer component to Lone Echo called Echo Arena. Rue, how does this game work?
Basically, it's a futuristic VR sport where you play, 10 people play in 2 different teams to get a disc inside each other's goals.
Now, you might be a little bit confused as to how exactly that works, but don't worry. We're going to take an even closer look at what the gameplay is like for Echo Arena.
In zero gravity, players fly faster. Passes go farther. Strikes hit harder. Stakes get higher. And victory tastes sweeter. This is Zero G in the Echo Arena.
Anomaly detected. What the hell? Jack, are you seeing? Jack, cut the panel. That's it. Jack!
We are up here with Echo Arena in action as some of the Ready at Dawn developers are playing against each other. So, Doug, welcome back. Hello.
Thank you.
It's awesome to have you. But listen, before we get into VR, I really wanted you to tell me a little bit more about the Grand Slam event.
Yeah, I'm pretty excited about that. I'm a big sports fan. So tennis, golf, rugby, they have their Grand Slam. Now we have it at esports. So with Intel, ESI, and DreamHack, we now have our Grand Slam, which is really exciting.
That's awesome. That's exciting. So I'd like to know a little bit more about Intel's involvement with this game.
You know, we've been involved working closely with the best VR developers for a long time, and I'm excited to work with Ready at Dawn as they're delivering the next second-generation VR game. They've been an ideal partner to enhance that experience to scale to the most performant CPUs like the i7 and i9.
That's amazing. So I was really excited to hear about your announcement earlier.
Yeah, Ready at Dawn, Intel, and Oculus, we announced that Intel is sponsoring a free release of Echo Arena to all Oculus Rift users when it launches on July 20th for a limited time. And this is because we want as many users as possible on this system. We want to ensure that everyone, including these guys behind us, the gamers behind us as you see, that they try and experience the future of VR and esports.
So speaking of esports, I would really love to hear more about Intel's involvement with esports.
Intel has a long history as a leader in esports. We worked with companies like ESL for the Intel Extreme Masters. And we're excited about Echo Arena and the growth of VR esports. And that's why we're expanding our partnership with ESL and Oculus to launch the VR Challenge League. It kicks off in July, and it features Echo Arena and the Unspoken. And it gives esports enthusiasts the opportunity to compete in VR at key upcoming events, with the finals happening in Poland in 2018 at the Intel Extreme Masters.
Okay, well, that sounds kind of awesome. Well, thank you, Doug. I cannot wait to play this game. It's going to be coming out July 20th, and you can pre-order it right now, and Rift owners can actually try the open beta on June 23rd. So back to you, Sean.
Thank you, Sonia. And once again, I got the chance to play Lone Echo, and I want to stress, you just have to play it. The single-player experience is especially mind-blowing. So once again, that's Lone Echo. Our next guest announced a game 2 years ago under the title Project Blue Streak, and we now know it as Lawbreakers. Here to talk about not just gameplay, but cold, hard dates is the CEO of Boss Key Productions himself, Cliff Blazinski. Welcome to the stage.
Thanks for having me, man.
Now, Cliff, I know that you guys in the past have been doing a lot of alphas and betas. How have those been going?
They've been going well. The alpha, it was all right. And then the first beta was good. The second beta was great. We're doing our final closed beta June 28th. If you have a key, sign on to Steam, download the latest update. And then we're doing our Rise Up event, which is a full open beta June 30th. Hop online, play the game, let us know what you think.
And I got to ask what it has been like to have people play the game, to give feedback in those betas. How has that shaped the experience?
Well, a lot of developers and publishers, they do these kind of bullshit marketing betas where they're like, oh, it's our beta and the game's out next week. I'm like, that's not really the case. You're not going to be able to fix anything. So for our game, we found that the Rommers shotgun was way too spammy. Overcharge wasn't that exciting, so we sped that up a little bit, and we sped up the characters. We took actual feedback, and we're integrating it into the game.
And these are more than just balance changes. I imagine that speeding up the pace of things creates a pretty different balance dynamic across the board.
Yeah, I mean, you change one thing, it's the butterfly effect. It affects everything else. And is the game going to be balanced on launch? No. That's why we need people's feedback. Play the game, see what characters are overpowered, underpowered, and then we'll introduce new characters and reshuffle the deck.
And I know that it can't be in beta forever, so Cliff, tell us when it's out.
Can I get a drum roll?
Audience, go! Do a thing!
So the game is finally dropping on August 8th on PC and PlayStation 4.
Oh, that's soon.
$29.99, none of that $60 multiplayer only bullshit.
And if you didn't see it online, Cliff took a bow. Yes, $29.99.
Curtsy.
Well, if you haven't gotten the chance to see the game and follow it throughout the recent PC gaming shows, let's take a look at some people who got the opportunity to play Lawbreakers, and we'll have them speak for themselves.
Oh, the speed of this game is intense.
1,000 decisions a minute. This is hardcore PvP.
Your instincts take over. It's primal.
It's exhilarating. Full frontal f***ery. A million miles an hour.
Literally from every angle.
I was shaking after the matches ended. It was like a high.
One of the fastest games that I've ever played.
Are you ready for another one? I'm like, I just need a minute, man. I'm shaking. I'm shaking over here.
I think the thing people are going to find in this game the most enjoyable is simply how difficult it is.
There's a pretty impressive skill gap. You can't just sit down and dominate within an hour or two.
Practical skill required. Precision aiming, the ridiculously fast movement.
And mechanically, it requires a lot of aim, a lot of vision and game sense. It's a twitch shooter. It's how a twitch shooter should be.
The action is going to press you and hit the map. I think team comp is definitely a huge thing for this game.
As we're flying around in zero gravity, you know, it's kind of a new situation for us. How do you keep up with your tank and protect them and heal them, also protect your healer and peel off them while DPS is still being affected and they're being supported? It gets crazy very quickly.
The gravity is the biggest thing because that adds so much verticality, and you combine the different movement systems of each character where some characters have teleports and some characters have dashes. This gets really wild and insane.
Now, literally anywhere you look is potentially an attack point.
I am literally under the map, saving myself from a grappling hook, whipping myself into the air, shooting at anyone below.
You need to check every possible corner. People are going to fly you with jetpacks, they're going to fly at you with double swords. You're going to have
someone that could just jet up in the sky, and all of a sudden now you have to worry about getting up there.
There's some abilities that I just haven't seen before.
Medic role is actually phenomenal. Well, it's battle medic, they call it. So it's not one of those medics where you have to sit back. It's not even a thankless role anymore because I'm out there slaying, killing
with the rest of my team while keeping them alive.
Wraith's got a really good one. With the sliding and the jump into 0G, that's great. Getting like through the map that fast is ridiculously fun.
I've been using the Vanguard to drift off the side, so I've been coming up behind the enemy. It took like 3-4 rounds before they caught on.
With the Gunslinger, he's a very precision character, so just spinning around and popping someone in the head real quick, it feels great.
The game is just aggressive all the time.
And this game gives you so much variety of motion.
I never felt more tested.
It makes you think in a completely different way.
The fastest speed I've ever seen in my life. Crazy when you're playing it.
Just as a reminder, that Ballin' Intel PC is still up for grabs. Don't miss out if you forgot. This bad boy is running an i7 7700K processors, a lot of 7s in there, and an NVIDIA GTX 1080. It's worth more than $2,500. You do not want to miss out. Head over to PCGamingShow.com/giveaway and put in your information. I think it could run Crysis at max settings. What do you think, Sean?
I think it can, Sonia. And I also think that it can run our next title. I am a master of transition. Our next game is from Chucklefish, the wonderful folks who helped bring you Stardew Valley and Starbound. Let's take a look at their upcoming game, Wargroove. Wargroove. Today, we're not just going to get a chance to talk about the game, but we will be seeing the editor in action, a live demo on stage. I'm joined by Jay Bayless and Doris Karaskotza from Chucklefish. Welcome. It's so great to have you.
Thanks.
Well, I want to say right away, the gameplay reminded me quite a bit of Fire Emblem and Advance Wars.
Yeah, Fire Emblem and Advance Wars are definitely kind of inspirations of ours. You know, Wargroove is a turn-based tactical strategy game. It's a game about starting to build up your resources every mission and push forward into your enemy territory and just kind of dominate the map and make the right choices. But yeah, we've got a lot of unique kind of gameplay mechanics. So we're bringing it into the modern age. We've got online play, mod support, and kind of content creation as well.
Yeah, and that's one of the things that we're going to get the chance to look at today. Doris, who's operating the PC right now, tell us what it is we're looking at.
So what we're looking at today is the world map of Wargroove, and this is our campaign editor. So these are the tools we use in-house to create Wargroove campaigns, and we're shipping them with the game so players can create their own scenarios. So I've been placing down map markers, and each of those represent a mission, and then you link them together to create the path through your campaign.
And I know that one of the things you wanted to talk about was the branching path element.
Yeah, so you can have branching path, obviously, and the cool thing with that is every branch can have conditions. So for example, let's say you get a high score in a mission, and that could lead you through a harder path in your campaign.
Or you could have a secret path that triggers based on some event in the mission.
Yeah, exactly.
Well, let's hop into one of the missions and get that one started. And Jay, walk me through what it is that we're taking a look at.
So yeah, this is our map editor. This is like straight drawing tiles straight into the battle screen. You know, it's really simple to use, really understandable immediately. You can just kind of draw those tiles straight in there and drop in the full range of units. Doris is dropping in a commander right now.
What are the commander units about? Talk to me about that.
So the commanders are kind of integral to the strategy of Wargroove. You have this unit that kind of represents like the king and queen in chess at the same time. They have unique abilities and act as your avatar in battle, and they're really powerful, so you can kind of push forward really heavily with them. But there's a lot of risk reward in there as well, because if you actually lose that unit, then you actually lose the game.
Oh, that's what you mean by the king comparison.
Absolutely,
it's both
yeah.
your power unit and the queen, but your loss condition is the king.
Yeah, and other tools include you can drop down buildings right now. We've dropped in some HQs. Those are kind of like your base of operations, and to take the opponent's HQ is to win the match.
Yeah.
But on top of like kind of simple and easy to use tools, we've also got more advanced tools. So you can use this zone tool right here, and you can highlight an area and assign like a scripted encounter or sequence to that.
Okay, so, you know, if I step into that forest, someone can pop out and attack me.
Yeah, you could have bandits jump out and attack you from the woods. And the really cool thing about that is that that actually ties back into the campaign map we saw earlier.
So it's very simple, like as simple as sharing the map actually. So you can just share your map, and if you want more content, just go online and download the map, and everything is just one click basically.
And there it is. So let me actually take a step over to this timer here. It has been 3 minutes, and we have gotten the chance to design a campaign map, end a mission, and get it playable. That is incredibly fast.
You will die.
Jay, Doris, I want to thank you both so much for coming out to talk about this game today. Cheers, guys. Thanks for coming.
Finally.
The next game that we get the opportunity to talk about is the sequel to Middle-earth: Shadow of Mordor. It's Middle-earth: Shadow of War. It has an officially announced release date, guys. It's October 10th. Here to talk to me about it is Michael DePlater, Vice President Creative at Monolith. What is up, Michael?
Hey, thank you very much. Thanks for the chair.
Hell yeah. Well, the chair is a nice break from all that grueling standing.
Yeah.
And it gives us to do one of the most iconic things in PC gaming.
The dark
this posture.
is older than the light.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, we've heard about the October 10th release date. What are some of the things that have been changing and building upon Shadow of Mordor in terms of Shadow of War?
I think what we've tried really hard to do, although it seems pretty obvious, is take the things that were good, that worked in the first game, so our combat and the Nemesis system and this world that we created, and to build on that, but also to take the lessons we learned in the first game and really improve those. So really make this into a truly epic fantasy that's kind of up there with if you go and see Return of the King or Lord of the Rings, and really focusing on the story and the characters as well.
I mean, you've been talking all throughout about how important story is in Shadow of War. What does that mean in terms of the work that you're doing?
It means paying off the epic scale, so having these titanic full-scale battles. It means the stakes of the story, so we're facing the most iconic and powerful villains, Sauron, the Witch King, and the Nazgul. And it means having these incredibly memorable and personal characters, so allies and enemies that you're working with.
And in terms of E3, what are the types of things that you're showcasing here that people can see?
Oh, the reason we're really excited for E3 is two things. People being able to get their hands on the game and play it. And also that we're going to be giving demos of the game, but because of the Nemesis system, every single demo we give, we have no idea what's going to happen.
That's awesome.
We don't know which orcs or which characters are going to turn up, which stories are going to happen. So every single time people go and see the demo, they're going to see something new, and so are we. And because of that, we really wanted to share that, not just at E3, but for anyone who wants to tune in and watch those demos as well.
Yeah, and of course you see all the information for how to watch those online throughout the entire duration of E3. I know that in a moment we're going to get a chance to delve a little bit more into those story bits with a unique cinematic based on one of the characters that was in the trailer. Can you introduce her for us, Eltariel?
Yeah, so she's one of the new characters we're introducing into the world and into our story, Eltariel. She's the Blade of Galadriel. So she's essentially an assassin that's been sent to Mordor to hunt down the Nazgul and to hunt down anyone corrupted by a Ring of Power. And you, as Talion, are running around Mordor wielding a Ring of Power. So there's some interesting tension in that relationship with her. But she's this awesome character, and as well as that, she gets her own fully playable campaign in our first major story DLC as well, which is the Blade of Galadriel.
Well, before we hop into that, I just want to say, Michael, thanks so much for coming on to talk about Shadow of War. We talked about how important story is to Shadow of War, so let's take a little bit of a look at 2 minutes of the cinematic, Eltariel meeting
So it is true.
You killed me.
And yet you live. What is that like? To die and live again? Do you feel pain? Do you suffer?
What of the city?
Michael DePlatter.
The Palantir.
The Nazgul have taken both. They belong to the Dark Lord now.
Then I have failed.
What if you keep fighting?
He wields the light of Galadriel. We can recover the ring.
Your rings are the cause of all this, Elf Lord.
You can see him.
I see him.
Who are you?
I'm the Blade of Galadriel.
Since when does Galadriel work with assassins?
Great threats make for unlikely alliances. You know this better than most. Now tell me more about this ring.
We crafted it to defeat Sauron, but it was lost.
The Nazgul will be drawn to the power of the ring.
We cannot let it fall into Sauron's hands. The light of Galadriel, give it to us!
Stay your hand! My light will protect us, but it will not leave my side.
We must move quickly.
Try to keep up.
Shadow of War. As a huge fan of Shadow of Mordor, I'm really excited to see where the story goes in the sequel. And I'm pleased to say we have one final game to announce. It's from Microsoft, and I'm not even allowed to say the name yet. So joining me to talk about said unnamed game is a creative director from Microsoft Studios, Adam Eisgreen. Welcome, Adam.
Thank you so much for having me on the show. Love being here.
Now, Adam, I understand that you've been in games for a long time.
I have. I am coming up on my 25th year making video games. So yes, you can actually make a career out of being in games. And you know, I got my start in the DOS days. Remember DOS?
Like, oh yeah, dude, I played Zork all day.
So I got my start in the DOS days doing role-playing games, D&D games. But I spent a heck of a lot of time making real-time strategy games. I was at Westwood Studios for years, working on the Command & Conquer series. Earth and Beyond, a whole bunch of great games there. Petroglyph, Universe of War, Empire at War. So a lot of history on PC, and I'm excited to get back to it.
Well, I understand that this title is an homage to those roots, and I'm still not going to tell you what it is, but I know you're curious, so let's head right in to this world-exclusive trailer. Adam. Age of Empires was the first game I ever saved up my allowance to play as a kid. I'd weed my grandma's garden all day. She'd give me like $2, and I still stayed dedicated. Tell me about Age of Empires, man.
Man, you know, nobody has been able to play this game except if they found the CD-ROMs for the last 20 years.
And what's a CD-ROM?
I know, really. These day and age, like, who even has a drive? You know, and this has been such a labor of love for us at Microsoft and our development partner at Forgotten Empires to bring back Age of Empires in such a wonderful, definitive edition so everyone can experience it.
I want to talk about all the stuff we saw in the trailer start to finish. Talk to me about the graphics. Those sprites are gorgeous.
We have redone every single asset in the original Age of Empires. Every animation, every tile set, everything that made Age of Empires great, we have carefully and lovingly taken and made even better and better.
Because I remember just watching the sprites move around in the original game. It was very blocky and stuttery.
16 facings now, so those fonts don't jitter. You know, a ton of work has gone into making the game and the presentation amazing.
What about audio?
Oh, yeah. So we've re-orchestrated and re-recorded the entire soundtrack to the game using an actual symphony this time. It sounds wonderful. The people at studios are constantly begging us to get the soundtrack already.
Now, I have to ask, there were some aspects to the gameplay back then that were a little janky. Have there been any updates to the gameplay in that regard?
Yes. So not only have we done things like improved Find Path, which is, of course, always a big thing in RTS games, we've gone in and actually modernized the UI. A lot of people forget that original Age didn't even have an idle villagers button. So all of that stuff, attack, move, all of those things that people have come to expect
Control
in RTS.
groups?
Yes, control groups.
1A.
Yep. So all of that stuff is all in the game now. So we've taken all of the learnings from the Age games that followed and brought it up to those standards.
And you know, speaking of modernization, I saw that it said Xbox Live Multiplayer, which, as you may or may not know, that is the online matchmaking service that Microsoft uses for PC games. I mean, how are you utilizing that?
Oh, well, we've completely redone how lobbies work and how games and matching works. You know, we have our friend system, of course, it's built into Xbox Live. So players should have a really amazing experience. We also have a web portal, so they can go and track progress and see their results against all the other players. So it should be a really wonderful experience to play.
And what about the beta that we saw at the end of that video?
Yes, so the game will be out later this year, but you can go right now to ageofempires.com and sign up for our multiplayer beta. You know, RTS games are really, you know, our multiplayer is so important. And we want to make sure that this definitive edition of Age is the absolute best we can make it.
Right.
So, you know, multiplayer, please come, sign, play with us, make the game great.
You asked me before we hopped on that you wanted to say one more special bit, a little bit of a tease. We understand that it's the 20th anniversary of Age of Empires. What is it you wanted to say?
So, yes, Age of Empires, the whole franchise will be it's hitting its 20 mark October of this year. You know, and this is the start, here at E3 with you, is the start of the celebration of 20 years of Age of Empires. And that party is going to roll. We're going to continue that. So you're going to hear from us again in Cologne, Germany at Gamescom in August. And we're going to be having a really wonderful Age of Empires event there and talking a whole bunch about, I think, stuff you're going to want to hear.
I think I'm going to want to hear it.
Yes.
You tease. Well, let me just say, Adam, thank you so
much
for coming out. Super excited about Age of Empires. And with that, our slew of announcements comes to an end. Before we depart, let's head back up to the mezzanine with Sonia for one last hello.
Thank you, Sean. I had an amazing time being a part of some awesome game reveals and kicking it with you guys today. If you want any more information on any of the games that you saw today, go to pcgamer.com. If you want to hang out with me and check me out on the internet, at OMG It's Firefox, pretty much everywhere. I had a blast, and for one last time, back to you, Sean.
Thank you so much, Sonia. I gotta say, it was a blast. I hope you had a great time. Thank you all so much for coming out, all of you who braved LA traffic to be here in the morning, all of you who tuned in online. Thanks to our sponsors, Intel, Microsoft, Bohemia, Tripwire, Cygames, and Nexon for help making this event possible. It is an absolute pleasure to have your support. And I'd also like to give a shout out to all the developers and the publishers at their recent conferences that have been going on in the last week. We were super excited about the titles there and following them closely because we're gamers at heart, and we hope that you too enjoyed what we had to share with you today. And as crazy as it sounds, E3 starts tomorrow, So we hope that you get the chance to get your hands on some of the titles that were announced in the last week that you're pumped for. From all the folks at PC Gamer and from me, Day 9, have a wonderful day and go play some video games. We'll see you next year.
Come on, one more?
One more!
One more.
One more!
Hey guys, welcome back to day 2 of YouTube Live at E3. I'm Jeff Keighley, and we are picking up right where we left off yesterday. Today, we've got 8 hours of non-stop video game coverage, including the big Sony PlayStation press conference, the Ubisoft press conference, more game world premieres, big guests, and of course, your favorite YouTubers. It's all happening right here, right now on YouTube, live at E3. Hello, everybody. Welcome to YouTube Live at E3. I'm Jeff Keighley, and this is our second day of our marathon live coverage on YouTube, and we are doing it all in 4K. The only place you're going to see E3 in 4K Ultra HD is right here on YouTube, and we've got a full day, tons of game developers coming by to show their brand new titles. Bethesda will be here momentarily to give us the updates on their press conference that happened late last night here in Los Angeles. And of course, it's all leading up to tonight, 6 p.m., the PlayStation E3 media showcase. Tons of amazing PlayStation games are going to be debuted. We're really excited about that. That'll happen at 6 o'clock. And then before then, in just an hour's time, we'll head to the Ubisoft E3 press conference with brand new looks at Assassin's Creed, Far Cry 5, South Park, The Fractured But Whole, and many other titles from Ubi. And of course, all the developers from these press conferences will be coming by our stage immediately after for their first interviews. So if you guys want more information on these games outside of the press conferences, you can tune into our show. We'll be asking them questions and getting answers for you guys. Same thing with PlayStation. After the press conference tonight, all the developers will be coming first to the YouTube stage, and believe me, there's a lot of big stuff happening later tonight at the PlayStation press conference. But all day, we're looking on social media. We want to hear what you guys have to say. We've got Melanie Mack over in our social media area using the hashtag YouTubeE3. So Melanie Mack is going to give us updates throughout the day on what people have to say about social media. So use the hashtag YouTubeE3, and we will be able to tell you guys a lot more about that. Melanie Mack, what's happening? Day 2.
Hi, Jeff. Thank you so much. I'm so excited to be here for day 2. You didn't fire me yet, so we're good. It's a great
Victory.
thing. Yeah. So I'm excited. We got Ubisoft. We've got Sony today. These two are going to be epic for me. I'm a big fan of Ubisoft games. I'm really hoping for a new Splinter Cell game. But Michael Ironside needs to be back, though. You know, he really makes Sam Fisher who he is. And maybe some multiplayer, you know, Spies versus Mercs. I miss that, man. And then Ubisoft, they've got so many great games. And hoping for an announcement for Beyond Good and Evil as well, which I just said. But anyway, PlayStation, good stuff. I'm really excited. I'm going to be checking out what you guys have to say on social media, so make sure you tweet at me, use hashtag YouTubeE3, so I can keep up with your predictions and all the great stuff. But right now, we're going to go back to Jeff.
Yeah, those are some good good choices, Melanie Mack. I'd love to see Splinter Cell announced, and Beyond Good and Evil 2. Yeah, that's a game. I remember I've been doing E3 Live for many years. I want to say it was like 8 years ago when they put that teaser out there, and Michel Ancel, he's actually working on another game for PlayStation called Wild, which we haven't heard about in, I think, a couple of years now. So I'm curious what's happening there. Again, it'll be a really interesting day. There are lots more announcements, and of course, this is day 2. Yesterday, if you happen to miss our live stream, you can head back to the youtube.com/E3 page, because we have the Xbox press conference there with the reveal of the Xbox One X. We had the first unboxing of that here on our set. So anything Xbox related we had yesterday. Today is all about brand new.
Come on, one more?
One more.
One more.
Okay. Start the show! Yes!
Totino's Pizza Rolls. Also, Totino's Stuffed Nachos.
Bethesda Land, it is The Evil Within 2. Check this out.
Hello? Sebastian, are you there?
Lily?
All right, Mikami is back, and joining me now, man you saw on stage yesterday, if you watched the Bethesda press conference, the only person on stage, the one and only, Pete Hines, VP of Marketing, Global VP of Marketing and PR for Bethesda. Good to see you, Pete. So big press conference yesterday. I got to say, I loved how it was tight, compact. You guys got your news in like 36 minutes, I think. Tell us about your approach to E3 this year. You know, it wasn't a Todd Howard game year, you guys, but you did have 2 big new titles that you announced, and as you said on stage, all stuff coming out this year.
Yeah, well, that was a part of it, which is we really wanted to focus on stuff that was coming out this year. Number one, you and I have worked together long enough. You know, kind of my belief, which is I really want to announce stuff when you can. Like, we could talk about anything. We could talk about stuff that's coming out in 3 years, but I'd really rather be able to show it and show what it's really doing. And so I think for this year, we wanted to focus on 2017. We wanted to keep it going quickly and move fast through everything and not spend a lot of time. And to be honest, we have a lot of stuff in our booth. You know, you can play Wolfenstein, you can play the VR stuff. So we didn't want to spend a lot of time like doing sort of protracted gameplay. Like, just come by our booth and check it out for yourself. And we're going to be doing a lot more this week to show folks like, yeah, I want to see more gameplay. I want to see more of the Evil Within or Wolfenstein. We've got a lot more to talk about this week beyond what we showed on Sunday.
And another thing that you talked about yesterday, I don't want to forget, is Dishonored 2. You guys are putting out a new expansion to that, which is going to be a standalone experience, right?
Standalone DLC.
Hunting the Outsider, it's coming out October? When is that?
September.
September. The other games are October.
Yes.
Exactly. Tell us a bit about that. So the team at Arcane is building an entirely kind of new self-contained experience.
Yeah, so if you know the Dishonored world, in Dishonored 2, you knew her as Megan Foster, who then, spoiler alert, later revealed herself to be Billy Lurk, who is Dowd's right-hand man. Dowd, you might remember from some of the DLC, Dowd's actually the one who kills the Empress in the original Dishonored. And this is a story about Billy working with Dowd to go back and kill the Outsider. Cool. They've decided they've had enough of this guy who is, you know, responsible for the cool supernatural powers you have, but is also responsible for a lot of the chaos. And they decided the only way to bring some normalcy to this world in Dishonored is to take out the Outsider. And that's what Billy heads off to do, is a series of missions to get to the Outsider and then to take him out.
And the scope or scale of this, I know it's not DLC, it's sort of the standalone adventure. It's not a full-scale game.
But it's still, I mean, it's a full-scale game. Like, it's going to have a significant amount of content. Okay. You know, it's I'm not sure what the full playthrough, but, you know, 8 hours, 10 hours. Cool. I mean, it's a big, meaty, full piece of the Dishonored world where you get to explore new places and play as a new character in Billy and you know, get more of that Dishonored experience that folks love, which is kind of playing the way you want, combining powers and combat to kind of move through situations. Are you going to be violent? Are you going to be non-violent? All of that stuff that folks have come to know Dishonored for, put in a standalone DLC.
And slightly lower price than a full game?
Yeah. Oh, for sure. Yeah. $30 for.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. That's great. So that comes out in September, and then October you have a big month with 2 titles coming out. On Friday the 13th, we get the.
You know me. I like cool, memorable dates, Jeff. And survival horror game on Friday the 13th. That just seemed like a win.
The developer has to hit it, which is a challenge, I'm sure, for Maccabi, but it looks pretty trippy and out there. The trailer you had yesterday. You guys do always such great reveal assets for these games. And tell us a bit about that. We got a hint of a little bit more extended gameplay there. It seems like this is kind of a completely new story, right?
It is. It builds off of the last one, but it's the story of Sebastian is sort of completely fallen apart after the events of the first game. He comes to find out that the daughter that he thought was dead is actually alive. Has been sort of captured by Mobius and is being used by them to sort of power this virtual world that they've created. And so he decides to go back in to try and save the daughter that he thought was lost. And so it's definitely a more powerful story in terms of this connection of trying to find the daughter that you thought was gone and save her. It's certainly a survival horror game, so it's definitely got lots of scary moments. And intense and that kind of constant struggle for resources and surviving. But it's also introducing a lot more of an open aspect to the game. You know, I think one of the things we heard from fans was Evil Within, they had a lot of fun, but it was fairly linear. There wasn't a whole lot of sort of branching off, and I think this time they're trying to embrace that a little bit more and have areas where players can kind of go and maybe go do stuff that isn't important to evolving the story, but is important for, like, I need some more resources, I need to build some more ammunition, or I need some other stuff to kind of feel ready to go deal with whatever comes next. And so you have a lot more choice now in kind of branching off and doing side missions and other stuff that wasn't really a part of the first game.
Very cool. Well, it looked great. Another thing that we should talk about is Skyrim for the Switch. Very fun trailer to see. So full amiibo support in that game?
Well, for Link. I mean, not like every amiibo.
Okay, I was gonna say.
No, we didn't
You
go
know
nuts.
Splatoon's gonna pop in.
No,
or
but
something.
you know, we talked to the folks.
only Link.
Only Link.
Okay.
But talked to the Breath of the Wild folks, and they were big Skyrim fans themselves and loved the idea. We really wanted to kind of do an integration with them, their open world thing, our open world thing. So it was a lot of fun. They were great with providing us all kinds of assets to make it feel like a cool, unique thing for Skyrim.
Yeah.
You want to run around as Link and go slay dragons. Like, come on.
That was fun. And do we know when that's coming out yet?
We haven't announced a date yet, but later this year.
Later this year. All right, Skyrim finally coming to the Switch. I also want to talk to you a little bit about Xbox One X. You were here, I think, right after the Project Scorpio reveal last year, and we saw Todd in that video last year talking about that. So I assume, you know, Evil Within and Wolfenstein are coming out October, but are they going to be enhanced for Xbox One X?
We're looking for all of our studios to add that level of support. BGS tweeted out last night that both Fallout and Skyrim are they're working right now on implementing support for X.
Yeah.
Are we going to call it X? What do we call it? XX?
Xbox.
But we will be providing updates for both of those titles to support it, and all of
And
our
that's sort of higher resolution, 4K, better frame rate, that type of stuff?
all of that stuff, yeah. Taking advantage of the hardware. And Microsoft's been great. Phil Spencer came out last year with his team to kind of walk us through what they were doing and do sort of a tech dump so all of our guys could start to get up to speed on what it was capable of doing and kind of how we wanted to embrace it and incorporate it in our games. So it's been good, and we're really looking forward to, you know, doing more with our games to support the hardware and what it can do.
You mentioned BGS. Last year, Todd was here and kind of broke a little bit of news that the multiple projects sort of in the works there. You know, another Elder Scrolls down the road, and you probably answer questions every day on Twitter about
down the road. Down the road.
A few games down the road.
To reiterate, they have at least 2 major titles that they are working on before we're going to get to Elder Scrolls 6. Jeff, we gave you that nugget, and somehow everybody, including your friend of mine, Michael Pachter, like somehow everybody missed that. I tried to manage expectations for folks. You know the kind of games they make. They take a while, but they have two major things that they're working on in addition to a lot of other stuff. You know, Skyrim Switch and all of these other things. Yeah, they are hard at work. They have a lot going on. And, you know, like I said at the outset, looking forward to talking about that stuff when we get to a point where we can really show what they're working on and not just speak to it, but like, here it is, here's exactly kind of what it's going to be. And looking forward to those. And then we'll get to TES 6.
You only answer a question on Twitter about that a couple
like
times
every
a day.
day, yeah.
But obviously, yeah, you said, and it feels like you said, I think some people interpret that like, oh, they're working on all 3 at once, but it's sort of like you have to.
No,
slots,
we're pretty
right?
clear. Like TES 6 is not in dev while we work on. I mean, we're not talking about small things. We're not talking about like a Fallout Shelter kind of project, like big multi-platform releases like you expect from BG.
Well, and that's the thing is, yeah, I'm sure you see all the rumors where people are like, oh, Todd's got his whole team planned out through 2032 or something. I saw.
Yeah, for sure. And look, there was a lot of last night. You know, there were the folks on various message boards that were posing as Bethesda folks. I have inside info and like found some trademark that we found and started spouting off. We're going to reveal this and we're going to reveal that. And you know, I'm not in a position of being able to just jump in and pour water on every rumor. I'm sorry that folks got sort of swept up in that and believed that it was true, but they clearly didn't work at Bethesda. They didn't know what they were talking about. We weren't ready to talk about what BGS is up to. Again, we wanted to focus on what we were doing and coming out with this year.
No, that's, you know, I always love, like, especially their last 2 games were, you know, Skyrim VGAs or when you did Fallout at E3. I mean, it was, you know, Todd, when he announces things, it's sort of like, here's the date. Like, it's like, you know, they'd like to be very contained.
More of an immediacy. Yeah, I mean, even in the case of Wolfenstein, You know, we could have talked about that last year at E3.
Sort
if
of
you
teased it a
wanted
little
to.
bit, right?
Do you like that? That was actually my idea. We wanted a kind of a DOS thing, and I was like, hey, we should do like a DRIR thing and stick the game name in there and just see if anybody notices. And of course, everybody did.
Oh, believe.
But you know, we didn't want to go anywhere beyond that because we wanted to wait until we could do something like last night, where you can really see sort of the story and character.
Were there any teases last night that we should be looking for?
I don't think so.
Okay.
But I'm so tired that there might have
you
been, and I
never know.
forgot. You're right. No, but we wanted to stay focused on this year and sort of be like, we're telling you about it, and you can also come play it in a booth, and you can see a lot more about what it is, and not just like, well, we'll wait for another year before we can tell you more.
For sure, and you know, now you guys are at a point where every game you ship feels like, you know, critically you ship some of the best games out there, and both those titles
We try.
For the holidays look like they're going to be big, and I know Jens is here to talk a little bit about Wolf. So speaking of that, thanks Pete for stopping by. Right now we're going to get a look at a world premiere trailer looking at the collector's edition for Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. Check it out.
Yes, the most wunderbar soldier who ever lived now brings exciting battle action to the American territories. With an all-new collection of authentic regime forces and Elite Hans action sets. And introducing, straight from the headlines, the vile BJ Terror Billy Blazkowicz. A cold-blooded killer that must be stopped. Terror Billy is always sneaking, spying, or smashing. But with the help of Elite Hans and General Engel, you can bring this terrorist to justice. Why, you'll be a hero of the Empire in no time. Add Terror Billy to your collection today and bring glory to the home front with Elite Hans, the Empire's posable protector.
Monsters did this.
Not monsters. Men.
Such a trippy game. Wolfenstein 2. Joining me now is the creative director for Machine Games, Jens Matthias. Jens, it's so great to have you here. And I got to say, last night, the reveal, I think people are still talking about it because it is just so messed up. I mean, that final shot with the cell animation in the world, it's like, I don't even know where to begin with this, but it definitely is pretty out there. And, you know, you guys had such fun, I think, doing the first game, you know, coming back for the new Colossus. I'm sure there were a ton of ideas, but coming to America, right?
Yep, yeah. It's the game is a direct sequel from the first one, so there's like a true continuation from where the first one left off. This one picks up.
Yeah. So tell us a bit about, I mean, some of the things we saw. It feels like this is a very, you know, the franchise has always been a little twisted, but it feels like you guys are really tripping on this one with some of the ideas in here.
Yeah, it's been wonderful. I mean, it's amazing to have this amount of creative freedom. I don't think we would have had that with any other publisher.
Yeah.
It's amazing that they trust us with it, and I think it really feels like this is the best thing we've ever done in terms of gameplay and story and the whole package.
So can we maybe pull apart some of the pieces of what we saw in the trailer? So maybe let's start at the end and work back. So yeah, at the end, what was that? What we saw, the kind of cell, is that a hallucination or?
No, yeah, this character called Wyatt, because we have these two timelines. So depending on the timeline you pick, either a character called Wyatt or another one called Fergus is alive. So in this timeline, Wyatt is, shall we say, experimenting with psychedelics.
Yes.
And so he's sort of on this constant stream of microdosing.
Yeah.
So it's not like some people were complaining that you know, it doesn't kick in that fast.
Yes.
But he's microdosing the whole time. So
is that something like there's one level in the game or multiple times throughout the game, those types of kind of crazy hallucinations?
Well, it's all about his character arc, right? So his arc throughout the story is about he has this journey of self-discovery. And then, yeah, I mean, we didn't really write that we call him Little Buddy, the little cartoon chameleon. Yeah. So it's not something we wrote into the script. It's more something we discovered along the way as the scene came together and we saw what the actor did with it. I just started thinking, it would be really cool to visualize what he's actually seeing.
Yeah.
Because he used to be was just grabbing air, you know. And then we got in touch with this animation house called Rubber House out of Australia, and they put this together for us. It's just amazing. It looks super cool.
Yeah. I can't wait to see how that fits into. That'll be in gameplay too. Like you'll be in sort of first person and things will happen.
Not really, because you are not Wyatt, right? So all of the things that he goes through is from his perspective.
Actually,
which
so
is
be
not
cutscene
yours.
more kind of.
Yeah.
Very fun. Well, tell us about the gameplay. You know, really excited to sort of see how you guys are pushing the action. And one of the great things about this franchise is that you're known for really, you know, awesome narrative, but also, I mean, at the end of the day, this is a first-person action game that, you know, pushes in different dimensions. So how are you sort of changing what the game experience is going to be this time, you know?
Well, on the one side, we're of course trying to, as much as we can, stay true to what Wolfenstein is, which is just real hardcore first-person combat, right? But within that box, we are doing a lot to evolve it. So we are on a new engine now, which is based on id Tech 6. But it's sort of small iterations beyond the Doom engine changes that we've done for our game. But we've done a huge push on the first person sort of immersive model or whatever. So you have a full first person model now. It's not just floating hands. Like if you look down, you see your legs and how they interact with the world and all that. You can dual wield the weapons independently. It's all of these things that, and so we worked really hard. Like we have had a dedicated team only working on visceral first-person combat mechanics for 3 years now. So it's gonna be. It feels amazing to play it. That's what's cool about it.
I can't wait to see where you guys take it. You know, I think people are always wondering about this. Probably know the answer, but what are you thinking about online at all for what this will be? Multiplayer at all?
No.
Not going to happen again. Okay.
No, same as last time. Like we know that we always produce the best result if the whole team is dedicated to one purpose. So it's pure single player.
Pure story. But that's the thing is, I think you guys put such a focus on the story, and it's actually refreshing. I think for me and a lot of people that love narrative story games that we can go in and just have this great single player experience.
Yeah.
You're right. A lot of games and other publishers, I think, sometimes pressure the developers and they're like, well, we've got to have another studio do a multiplayer mode so we can check that box.
No, I mean that's to Bethesda's credit that they let us do whatever we want to do, and I think that's paying off hugely in terms of what the game is, what the game feels like,
Yeah. So coming out this October, so you guys have a couple more months here of development. What are we seeing at E3? I know you guys showed a little bit at the press conference. People get to play it. Pete said at the booth.
Yep. Wow. So the thing we're going to have the hands on is sort of the first play. There's like a prologue before that, but once you get into proper gameplay. It's that first level. So, and it's all wheelchair combat.
Okay, wheelchair combat.
Yeah.
How does that work?
Surprisingly awesomely.
Really?
Yeah. Like
so you're just using like the sticks or the arrow keys to like sort of like you're just mobile on a wheelchair?
Yeah.
With your gun?
Yeah, it's super intuitive. It's the same controls as you move around normally.
Yeah.
But it was one of these things, like, because BJ obviously at the beginning of the game he's horribly injured. So he can't even stand upright. And so he's confined to this wheelchair and has to fend off invading Nazis. So we thought, wouldn't it be super cool to have like a playable wheelchair level?
Right.
And
why not?
yeah. And everyone was, yeah, that's super cool, but can we actually make it fun? And so that was a big question, but it just turned out great. So we're really happy with how that came out. We try to do that throughout the game, right? Mix it up and find interesting ways of playing.
Yeah, for sure. And that's why you can focus so much on the density of the experience because you're focused on the single player and the story.
Yeah.
I think you're probably the only game with wheelchair combat at E3. I'm not
Fingers crossed.
But I'll let you know. All right, well, I can't wait to play it over at the booth. Yeah, it's great to see you, and we'll see you at E3 Coliseum Tomorrow you guys are going to be sharing more about the game, which we can't
Awesome.
wait to hear, and you guys can watch that as well on YouTube. All right, well, we're used to seeing some pretty big explosions here at E3, but this summer, Charlize Theron is going atomic. The Oscar winner explodes into Atomic Blonde, an action-packed thriller that follows a lethal assassin through a city simmering with revolution and traitors. James McAvoy, Sofia Boutella, and John Goodman also star. Check out this clip from Atomic Blonde, which is in theaters July 28th.
Ja, nicht, die sind im 3. Stock. Schnell die Treppe hoch.
All right, we're back, and you saw this guy on stage yesterday at the Xbox press conference, and now we get to meet the maker behind Middle-earth: Shadow of War, the VP of Creative at Monolith Productions, Michael DePlater. And stay tuned after for a special announcement about Shadow of War and Totino's Pizza Rolls. Michael, great to have you with us today.
Excellent to be here. Thank
we are so excited about Shadow of War. Coming out now this October, right?
October 10th.
October 10th. I
Yep.
saw the big banner out front of
Yeah,
E3 when I was
super
driving
exciting.
into E3. So I know this is a passion project for you. I think Shadow of Mordor, a couple years ago, back in 2014, everyone just got so excited about what you guys built. And now you're back a few years later with a brand new experience. And let's just jump right into the gameplay and tell us what you're showing, because it's such an epic world. I know I got to play it a few weeks ago, one of the forts, and it's just like, this is only a small little piece of what this is going to be. So tell us, what are we seeing here?
I think, and that's what's sort of so exciting about us for E3, is that every time we get to show the game, we're going to be showing something new or something unseen, and we never know what's going to happen in any particular demo. So here, Evan's mounted on this Caragor. We're moving around through this is the open world in Nirn. So this is the south of Mordor.
Yeah.
And we've got this whole kind of living world that we really want to show off in E3, and the influence of the Nemesis system that actually spreads right throughout the world. So not just through the fortresses that we have, but also out to the wilderness, to the outposts, to the side missions, to
Everyone
the different
remembers.
orcs you'll hunt and recruit.
Yeah.
Yeah, and actually you'll build and grow those stories with each of those different guys. Yeah, the thing that's really, one of the things we've doubled down on is all of the mounted combat and gameplay.
Yeah.
So the Caragors, these are fun because they can climb pretty much anything as well. So even when you're mounted, you're just as mobile.
That's amazing, though. I mean, the animation and physics to get that all to work like that across all these different environments.
Yeah, and combat from them, and even stealth, because they're big cats. They can crouch down, they can hunt, they can stalk.
Yeah.
So you've got these guys, you've got riding the dragons around, you've got these massive, giant Graugs that we have as well. So we have just put so many systems and so much gameplay into all of the sandbox and the open world in here. But I think what we're also going to show here today, after we show a bit more of the open world, is actually a beginning of a fort assault, and we'll Yeah, they're pretty fun as well.
Well, I got to say the world looks incredible. So in terms of scale compared to the first game, what can you tell us about how big
It's hard to quantify because we've got more regions.
Yep.
You know, many more regions. Every one of those regions is bigger.
Yep.
And then every one of those regions is much more dense with gameplay, with content, with verticality, with caves, with secrets, with life. And then every one of those regions changes with what the living world is depending on. I know.
Epic scale of it. It's nuts.
Everything. And then it changes depending on which tribe's in control. So it's kind of, it's bigger than Shadow of Mordor in multiple dimensions. So it's, you know, it's at least 4 to 5 times to play through this experience that we had in the first game. It's everything we're just going for epic, with the story, with the characters, with riding around on drakes, the whole thing. That's our keyword. And that was what was so great for us after people were so, you know, generous and excited about Shadow of Mordor, that it just got us, it enabled us to double down and basically check off all of our wish lists of all the things we wished we
exactly.
to do.
It feel like, you know, there were so much people liked, obviously, the Nemesis system in the world, and now, as you said, knowing that people like that, to build on that, and still, you know, even though we're showing, you know, epic sort of scale, you know, moments here, it's like that core combat and that, you know, the combat loop. I remember, you know, sort of post-Batman, it's like you guys came in and sort of, you know, I think a lot inspired by that, just sort of really built this, you know, really fluid combat system.
Yeah.
I'm sure we'll see when we see the Fortress. Yeah.
I mean, all the teams did such a great job, you know, the animation team, and the fun thing with that sort of style of combat is we were able to make it so visceral, you know, we're able to have heads flying in the last game, now we can do limbs flying, we can have bodies torn in half.
All the fun stuff.
But as well as that, we've now got this entire additional layer of player progression and skills. So the skill tree is expanded enormously, and you can now really customize your loadout and your skills depending on what your play style is, and then combining that with a pretty epic gear system. So now if you're hunting down and defeating different enemies, different nemesis, they're going to drop, you know, rare, epic, legendary gear, and then you can craft that to really customize the character and to visually change how the hero looks as well.
Yeah, well, we should jump into the Fortress here and see some real live gameplay here and talk about what we're going to see here when we go live. Now, one thing I will ask you about is Xbox One X. You were on stage yesterday. So this game is coming out about a month in advance of One X. So what does that mean? You'll sort of be able to play it, obviously, on your, you know, Xbox One S, and then when it comes out for X, it'll be further enhanced?
Yeah, exactly. So it's the same, you know, all of the platforms of Xbox, Xbox One S, and then of course the X and the PlayStation and the PC, but just being able to really take advantage of the power of the X in terms of the scale of the game, in terms of course of just how amazing it can look in 4K. So
will that be, do you think it's going to drive like a better frame rate, or, you know, it's going to be obviously 4K resolution? What can we expect? How much different will it be than the 1S version?
One of the areas where we're really lucky, you know, and the team's just doing such a killer job, is we have our own tech and we have our own engine, which is the Firebird engine. And those guys have just knocked it out of the park in terms of optimizing every element of that, from the frame rate through to the resolution, through to the detail. So we're just taking advantage of it in every dimension just to make sure that the whole thing is really
So we will get a better frame rate on 1X, you think?
We're locked in, you know, we're really committed to this sort of locked in at 30, so it's just always consistent, it's always smooth, even if you're going into the most ridiculous, massive, epic Helm's Deep scale battle and you've got multiple dragons, everything's on fire, there's hundreds of guys on screen, it's just insane. You know,
but then you ratchet up the little details, I guess.
Yeah, exactly. But then with all of that insanity going on, which are these really big, intense combat moments, you don't lose any of the responsiveness or the flow or just that great feel that, you know, makes our combat so good.
Very cool. All right, well, let's look at some of the combat here. For the blue.
He's definitely blue. Yep.
And we're going to see some real combat here, which is amazing with these forces. And, you know, I got to play this a few weeks ago. I mean, you know, great sense of strategy, obviously, as you sort of go through, get to make choices on how you're going to engage in the battle here.
Yeah, and also, the army that you bring in with you.
Enjoy this, boys!
So the personalities of these guys, the stories that you build up with them, and the scale of it. It's just, immense, because that's the thing. Like basically the team, you know, we said, so we had this game, Shadow of Mordor, and we just wanted to make it bigger in every dimension. So now we've got hundreds of guys. We've got more detail on all of those guys. We've got massively more variation with the Nemesis system on them all. Yeah. We've got the fire and the destruction system. We've got these massive forts. So it's just every single dimension. It got massively expanded. So here, Evan's actually, what he's done is he's used Shadow Strike. So he's gone up and he's taken control of one of these siege beasts. And now he can actually take that, which was a big threat to us, and turn that back on the enemies. And he can now start raining destruction down on this first victory point to help us capture it. A little bit of friendly fire on our own guys, but they'll probably forgive us for that, or not. And then make sure he destroys that so we don't leave it back for the enemy to take over again. And then coming down to the first victory point here.
Capture it.
Away from my fortress, or I'll crush you like the man dung you are.
Okay, so he's not too happy about us coming here to take that over, but Evan's in a hurry. We've got our 10 minutes. And then also, even beyond all of these sort of millions of possibilities of their different strengths and weaknesses, their personalities affect the combat as well. Yeah. So if they get enraged, they go into a frenzy, which makes them even more dangerous in combat. And then we can see he's cursed as well. So these cursed attacks actually take away some of our power.
Look at that. I love the fluidity of that, right? Yeah, I mean, it's just like, you know.
Okay, he's gonna, that's actually one of the tribal weapons this guy's gonna use. Oh, got away. Oh, okay, that was close. Let's see how he goes. But something we've really, the levels that you see of the enemies, all the classes we've added to the enemies, all of the tribes, so just no two of these guys are gonna be the same. Now that wall's burst through as well from our artillery. And then every fight that you have is gonna create a new story, and either having these guys join your army and become part of your story that way, or potentially fighting to the death or becoming an enemy. So our guys occupied here, bang, and we can take the
victory point captured
and grab some epic loot there as well. So depending on how powerful the enemies are, what your story is with them, we then have the whole gear system. And then the fun thing, in order to make the gear actually even build more stories, you get a little challenge on the gear, and if you unlock that, that unlocks additional traits on the weapon, and also little quotes that help you remember that personal story with that orc.
Oh, I mean, as the scale of the game increases, you said Nemesis system, how it's going to sort of scale over the game, and that's what makes it so much more memorable. You know, characters that are going to remember in more ways.
Yeah, it's more epic and more personal, which I think is definitely fits with Middle-earth and with that kind of epic fantasy as well. Okay, see if we. I don't know how far we're going to be able to get through this fort assault in the time we have.
But
he's charging through.
I have faith that he's going to get through all the way through it, through all these victory points, as long as he doesn't die and have to reset back to the beginning of the assault, which I had to do once when I was playing a few weeks ago.
Oh. Okay, so Celebrimbor actually took out Olrock the Biter.
Yeah.
Some more loot.
There's just so much going on, but it's, you know, people know from this game, it's like, you know, it's so fluid, and you never feel out of control. You never feel stuck, and it's like what I love is that you can sort of get in and out of all this combat.
Dragon landed on us, a little bit chaotic, but okay, we'll get it.
It's early in the day.
Yeah.
As you get through more demos today, he'll be great.
But okay, one of our guys is even bleeding out here, but that thing of having this massive scale and all of this chaos, but the combination, I think, of the UI team, the animation team, the AI team, of actually enabling you to control this chaos, to have the skills in combat and to have the tools at your disposal, and your allies to help you out as well.
It looks absolutely incredible. I mean, the scale of what you guys are putting together is just incredible, Michael. So thank you for
so much.
Coming by to show it to us. Of course, coming out, as you said, October 10th. Across all the platforms. We can't wait to check it.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
Yes, Shadow War. Thank you, Michael. All right, and now for a special announcement from Totino's. Totino's Pizza Rolls will be launching in-game content, download codes on select bags that can be redeemed for items in Shadow of War. Very cool partnership. You can check out the promotion on specially marked packages of Totino's Pizza Rolls and Totino's Pizza Party Rolls, or Party Pizza, in stores October and November of this year. You must be 18 years or older to redeem. Void where prohibited. Open to residents of the 50 United States and DC only. And the only place to get the in-game content before Shadow of War releases is with Totino's Pizza Rolls, the exclusive pre-launch partner. Codes drop on specially marked Totino's packages in September. Get yourself hyped by heading to gaming.totinos.com. Pizza Rolls, Shadow of War. Thank you, Michael. Appreciate it. All right, take care. Now we're going to head on over to home base to check in with the president of Gearbox Software, Randy Pitchford. Randy,
how's it
always dressed so nice.
Thanks, man.
We don't know where you get your shirts, but they're all.
You know, my wife dresses me.
Christy's back in the. They got it all lined up for the week, right?
That's right. Check it out. This one's got Space Invaders on it.
Oh wow!
Isn't that wild? Like I don't know where.
I don't know if that'll show up on camera, but you're right. It's like yeah.
There's Space Invaders on the shirt.
Well, you've been doing so much for the video game industry for so many years, and we want
so
to
have you.
Thank you. But it's we're excited to have you here. We're psyched that you're going to be on the panel tomorrow with Neil deGrasse.
Oh, that's going to be a
Chris
blast.
Hardwick, James Gunn, talking about how you build these worlds. And I love that you're here just to kind of chat, because it's not like there's some massive new Gearbox reveal.
Well, I got lots of things I can sell you, but like this is E3 and it's awesome, and there's so much cool stuff going on. So it's fun to kind of take high level too and just look at the industry.
Exactly. We all love games, and you guys certainly are working on a lot of great stuff. I would be remiss if I didn't ask you about Borderlands, because we saw, I think it was at GDC, you guys teased a little bit of the game engine, how you're working with Unreal Engine.
Yeah, that was a tech talk about some of the technology we're working on.
So what, I mean, early obviously, but what can you tell us? I mean, you guys have been pretty open, I think, panels and stuff. We're trying to recruit people to work on Borderlands. It's not a secret that that's your next big project, right?
I can tell you, obviously, we're very, very excited about what we're working on. I know there's a lot of people that love the Borderlands franchise, and they're really looking forward to more from us.
Yeah.
And I can't wait. Like, there will be a big official announcement.
Yeah.
And it's really important, I think. And one of the things I'm actually really happy about with Take-Two and 2K as a partner is we've really come into alignment that we should really have everything that we want to talk about ready to go, and know exactly where we are and have the evidence to prove it all before we showboat and make some big announcements. I think it's really important that expectations are set correctly. We have some incredible ambitions with the game, and so when that big announcement happens, we'll have everything all lined up, and we know exactly what we'll be delivering.
All right. Not this E3 though, right?
No. Unfortunately, I know there's so many people
holding out for that PlayStation announcement tonight or something. Yeah.
I know there's a lot of people looking forward to us talking about it, and people do know we're working on it, and we are. In fact, most of the developers at Gearbox, this is what we're doing. So it is all I think about. It's all I think about.
It's a big property. Let's talk about Borderlands kind of as a property.
Yeah.
Where is there's always been tales from the Borderlands.
Yes.
Other things that have happened. Are you guys thinking now about sort of where Borderlands can go into different mediums?
Well, I'll tell you, one thing that's been really interesting is as Borderlands has been successful, a lot of folks wanted to get involved with us, and that's how projects like Tales from the Borderlands happened. I think one of the things I'm most excited about, but there's tons of stuff, and it would take like the rest of the afternoon to go over every little thing going on, but I think the biggest thing that we're most excited about is the movie in development. Lionsgate is the studio, and Arad Productions is the production company, and I don't know if you know Arad Productions, but Avi Arad ran Marvel Studios. They created the Spider-Man film, X-Men, Iron Man, and kind of figured out how to finally make really good, entertaining comic book movies. And so these are the guys that are behind figuring out how to finally make a good video game movie. And they think Borderlands might help them do it. So it's been a fun process, and I've learned a lot. I've done a couple other things in the past. We did a television documentary with the Brothers in Arms series on the History Channel, but this is a whole different level, and it's not.
Where is the movie going to be sort of just set in the world, and Pandora, is it going to be on sort of like around the first game, or how's it going to be?
I'll talk about it a little bit. I mean, obviously nothing's been officially announced yet, but we've been developing scripts, and the strategy that we're on right now is that it's obviously all in the Borderlands universe, but rather than retell the stories that were in the game, we'll create new stories. So the films will have like their own almost film canon. We'll use all the characters and all the scenarios, of course. And it's kind of like a similar strategy to what Marvel's doing, where you can't read any particular film plot in a comic book, but there's a lot of the characters, themes, and in fact some of the situations are represented. And it's very important to take that strategy, because the 90 to 120 minute passive entertainment medium that's film is completely different than the way we consume story and characters in the video game. So it's really important to respect that and develop a story that's designed, designed for the film medium. But holy crap, it's been a blast, and I just can't believe how behind it Lionsgate is. Like these guys are pumped, and they're like the real deal. So we'll see, man. I mean, I'll be honest, there have not been a lot of great video game films. In fact, most of them kind of suck. And that's kind of like the EV, but the expected value is we'll see. But I think there's a shot.
Yeah, and you can give it time, see what happens, and you're still going to focus on, making
that's what's great about it is if there's a great film that happens, like it obviously helps and everybody will get to enjoy it, but it doesn't change anything that we're doing in the video game space. If anything, it just kind of adds this extra layer of excitement, which pumps us up a bit.
Now all we need is the Duke Nukem movie, right?
Yeah,
Make it happen.
We're working on that.
All right.
Yeah, and I can't announce it, but there's been a whole. You'd be surprised. It's blown my mind. There's been a lot of production companies that have come at us, and we are putting a deal right now together with a major motion picture studio and I'll tell you off the record if you want to know, but it's holy crap. It's exactly the right. It's the exact right people that should be doing a Duke Nukem film, and we'll see what happens. But yeah, it's unbelievable. I think that's very likely to be a thing.
Are you gonna make more Duke games? Do you think?
Yeah, there's a couple things going on. Well, one of the most the cool things is the games are great, but some people know this. Duke Nukem's actually going to be making a cameo in Steven Spielberg's upcoming Ready Player One film.
Oh, really?
That's coming later this summer. Yeah. Do you know about the film?
Of course, I know.
Have you read the book?
Yeah.
So Ernie Klein's book is amazing. If you haven't read Ready Player One.
I didn't know that Duke's going to be in.
Yeah, he's making a I may have just scooped that, but yeah, and it's pretty cool. Yeah, he's because the game, the story, a lot of the story takes place on the Oasis.
Yeah.
And people take on avatars of just who they wish they can be, and apparently there's a few cool video game cameos, but it's not a big role, but he's going to show up and. He's going to be Duke, man.
We missed the Duke.
Yeah.
What about Brothers in Arms? Do you guys ever go back to that? Do you think? For a while you were talking about maybe doing another one.
We do. In fact, we've had in development for some time. Again, it's not ready to make the big announcement, but we have had in development for some time a new Brothers in Arms game. It's authentic. It's got Sergeant Baker. It is the Brothers in Arms game that we want to make. And we're doing it under our publishing label. Okay. So what's great about
you
this?
guys have now.
That's right.
Like we had you at the Game Awards.
I was really grateful when Ubisoft jumped in to help publish the original Brothers in Arms games. But as that relationship matured, I think for them they just thought the game looked pretty cool and it was sort of a side bet, and it turned out to be a big franchise, and it became important to their business. And as that was true, then they got more and more involved. And I think their interests with it were different from where what we think Brothers in Arms is. And so now
you have it. It's your.
We own the IP, but we worked that out so that it's all free and clear with Gearbox, and now we can do the authentic game that Brothers in Arms fans really want.
Okay.
And we haven't we haven't gotten to the point where we really are ready to announce it, but I think Brothers in Arms has always been strong because of its unique kind of tactical gameplay. It's not just a raw shooter. There's a lot more to it than just the skill test. But there's also a storytelling element, and we're really pushing that to new places. And our experience working with Telltale on the Tales series has taught us that you can actually make gameplay out of storytelling, and you can have that be really engaging. In fact, I think in the Telltale games, the best parts of those games are interacting with the storytelling and not anything that resembles a skill test.
Yep. Yeah, that's interesting. All right, so that's actively in development.
Oh yeah.
That's awesome. Yeah, Gearbox Publishing. That's exciting to see you guys. You've always been. I always admire how independent you've always been.
Yeah,
a lot of bigger developers
that
have a couple hits and then they sell to the publisher. And you're, I think, probably one of the largest sort of independent.
It's weird. We're like feel like a last man standing in that regard. Like,
but I think you've held out. I'm sure you had many offers over the years to go join companies.
Every partner we've ever worked with. That's usually the first and last conversation, and several conversations in between.
But I admire that you've sort of held out, be independent, just like I like to keep Game Awards independent. It's like you get to sort of do your thing, and now you get to because of digital distribution, you can put these games out yourself.
It's really opened up a lot of things, and not only for our own titles, but also helping other third parties. Like we helped people can flag it Bulletstorm out there. And it was just announced that Gearbox is the retail publisher for Epic's next game, Fortnite.
Exactly.
Like, holy crap, Gearbox is publishing, helping Epic. Like,
amazing.
Epic's, you know.
You license the engine now.
I know,
game.
right?
It's
It's
like,
it's
all
unbelievable
yeah.
that's happening. But one of the reasons I think that's happening is because we are a developer.
Yeah.
So we kind of get what that's like to be a developer, and our business deals with developers are extraordinary. Like crazily developer friendly. Epic could not find another publisher that would do what we're willing to do for Epic.
Happy to do it.
And we know we want the same thing because we are fiercely independent and we just need what we need for our properties.
Well, it's very cool, and it's great to have you here at E3 just to hang out, talk about games.
Yeah,
And,
man.
I'm sure in future years we'll have much more to show gameplay-wise.
Oh yeah. There's, you know, if you want, there's some other things too with publishing because we are able to do our own titles and able to do some third-party titles. One of the fun new things that I've been working on is a VR project with Penn and Teller. Do you know those guys?
Yeah, of course. Yeah. Well, I've seen you. You're good buddies with them.
Yeah. So I used to be a magician before I became a game developer, and I've always, like, in the back of my mind, like, how do we use magic for video games? And I've never really been able to do that directly. Like, a lot of the things I've learned and techniques I've been able to kind of draw upon for video games, but I've never directly done a magic trick in a video game before. And with this Penn and Teller project, we're doing it. And holy crap, with VR, it's absolutely perfect.
I was
Because
gonna say,
you can really, you know, you can
Mess
really,
with people, yeah.
You can really mess with people.
Okay.
And because they, first of all, they can't see anything out in the world, and there's all these expectations that you draw. For example, when you have the controllers in your hand and you see the controllers in VR, you make this association between that object in the real world and the object you're seeing in VR. But we can disambiguate that. Like, imagine if the operator's holding a controller, you see the controller and you think that's where they're standing because you can see the controller and the
they're
body
not.
attachment. But they don't have to be standing there.
Yeah.
In fact, that controller doesn't actually have to be that controller. Even though you see it in VR, that controller could be anywhere. And there's all kinds of fun things we can do to just absolutely. And Penn and Teller are just absolute geniuses for taking what the expectations are and turning them upside down to just rip our brains apart. And the idea of just absolutely messing with people is a lot of fun too. So it's going to be called Penn and Teller's Cruel Virtual Tricks for Real Friends. And there's a whole set of bits. Some you can enjoy on your own, some where you can mess with other people. And if you've ever, like, I don't know if you've ever done a practical joke on someone or played a prank or...
Maybe back in the day.
So with these VR tricks, like, what happens is when we do the really bad ones, like the really horrible shit that you really shouldn't do, people come out of it, you know, okay, that was immoral, that was unethical, you're an asshole, you should not have done it. Let's go do it to somebody else. And that's like
Pay it forward.
Yeah, it's really a lot of
awesome.
fun.
All right, well, we can't wait to see that. So much going on at Gearbox. Randy, thank you so much for stopping by.
Awesome hanging out. Have a
great
good show,
E3.
man. We'll see you tomorrow.
We'll see you tomorrow for the big panel. But right now, we are going to head over to Melanie Mack to give an update on what you guys are talking about online about E3. Mel?
Thanks so much, Jeff. I'm super excited right now because I get to do my favorite thing ever, and that's read all of your tweets here. So right now, one of my other favorite things is food. So apparently, Ubisoft has cupcakes. Nobody told me this, so I'm gonna need someone to bring me back 1 or 5. And right here, Vac Saint says, YouTube live at E3 Lounge, free food, free drinks, enjoy the games. And nobody told me they had free food here. So yeah, you're gonna need to save me a plate there. So of course everybody's excited about the Ubisoft conference coming up. Right here, Dakota says, Ubisoft, I believe Ubisoft is going to smash the scales this year. So excited, can't wait. I agree. They always do such an amazing job and they make some of my favorite games. So right here, Gamer Insanity says, Melanie Mack, YouTube E3. I want to see a new Splinter Cell reboot with a new female protagonist if we can't continue with Michael Ironside. Now this is honestly one of the most interesting tweets I've seen all day today because I never even thought about that, but I think it's pretty brilliant. Obviously, Michael Ironside, Sam Fisher is legendary, but it would be pretty awesome to see a female protagonist, a new Splinter Cell, but I wouldn't want to totally eliminate Sam Fisher, so maybe he could take like a Lambert role or something like that and kind of like direct and guide the new protagonist. I feel it. That could be really awesome. And so then we've got right here, Timmy says, I want a new Rayman game. All right, I feel you, Timmy. That sounds great. Everybody, make sure you send me your tweets. Use hashtag YouTubeE3 because I want to read them and see them all. But right now, I'm going to toss it back to Jeff.
All right, thanks very much, Mel. We are getting ready for the Ubisoft press conference that we'll be presenting in its entirety to you guys here live on YouTube, youtube.com/E3. It's expected to run about an hour in length, a little bit shorter than previous Ubisoft press conferences, but there's going to be lots of great news there on Assassin's Creed, Far Cry, and some other announcements. And now joining me to talk about what we expect from Ubisoft, got Danny O'Dwyer, Rocco from Mega 64, Tina from Mashable, and Nick from Polygon. What's going on, guys?
How you doing?
All right, well, we are here to talk Ubisoft.
Yeah.
We already have seen some of their games because we saw Assassin's Creed yesterday. They just announced Far Cry 5, which has been getting a lot of attention online. You know, they're always known for showing some big games and usually making like 1 or 2 big announcements of games that are coming in the future. Danny, how excited are you for Ubisoft?
I'm like, that's what I'm sort of worried about and interested in is whether or not we're going to get that, right? Because there's so many nobles. Like, they're going to trot out Assassin's Creed and have probably a big gameplay demo of that.
Yep.
Far Cry 5, we'll hopefully see that, like, you know, Nintendo mashup Rabbids thing. Yep. What I want to see, though, is if they do pull something out of the woodwork, like a Splinter Cell or some, like, old franchise that we've not seen.
Beyond Good and Evil finally returned.
Right. Can you even do that now? They just need to say, oh, it's out now.
Yeah.
Like, here's the trailer, go buy it.
I feel like they always, like, every year, even last year, like, they announced that Steep game. Like, they always have something they announced. The challenge sometimes is there are lots of leaks. People, you know, always are guessing what they're going to talk about. Rocco, you know, I remember back in the day, Mega 64 did quite the Assassin's Creed
yeah, we did.
Parody video. If you haven't seen it on YouTube, check it out.
Yeah.
What are you expecting from the French boys at Ubisoft?
I'm honestly going into this just a little bit concerned. More than anything. I think the past 2 days, I've seen a lot of disparaging comments about, you know, the state of digital influencers and, you know, just this whole negative image. And, you know, I myself am a digital influencer. And so I'm just trying to look out for us because when we talk about things, you know, people have to listen.
Yeah.
Like literally. And I'm trying to just make sure that image is preserved. So what I'm kind of hoping going into the conference today is they're going to have the digital influencers. They're going to get, iJustine is going to be back. You know, they're going to get, you know, Epic Meal Man and all those guys and just try to, you know, infuse some positivity. So there's so much salt.
Yeah.
As the original influencer, how do you feel about all these new influencers?
Yeah. I pretty much think they're something else. You know, they're just, you know, just taking it to a whole nother level. You know, you got, I don't know if Tobuscus is coming back, but he's doing his thing. Hopefully.
Remember back in the day when he hosted the Ubisoft?
Yeah, and that's what I'm kind of hoping for. You know, we're going to roll the dice today, and hopefully, you know, he'll do some kind of crazy opening. It's a little
musical number or something.
Yeah, something like that, because you know we got to fill the, you know, kind of fill the void. Because
I don't think Tina's believing you on any of this. What are you expecting, Tina?
Well, if the previous conferences that we've seen so far are any indication, they have been going that route, and we know that Aisha Tyler's not going to be there.
That's true.
Right. Yeah.
So, yeah, sadly.
Hey, Rocco, you better get over there. You only got like 90 seconds.
You know, I offered, and
maybe you guys did a tape like you do for the GDC Awards. Maybe there's some Mega 64 bits.
You know, we could have made a video, but I'm just, you know, get Epic Meal Man to do his thing and eat that big meal.
Slow-mo guys will do something. You never know.
Slow-mo guys. I did a skit once, the fast-mo guys.
Nick, what are you thinking from Ubisoft?
I'm hoping, like, I'm really hoping that they weren't discouraged by kind of the reception to the, like, let's make a meme thing in the past, because that was literally my favorite moment of E3 last year. Other than that, like, apparently on Walmart.com, a listing for the Kingdom Rabbids thing just went up like 6 minutes ago.
Okay.
So
that's got to be real, right?
Yeah, as if that wasn't confirmed 1,000 times already. Yeah. So maybe there's like an amiibo thing for that, but I feel like they're saving that for Nintendo. I'm basically here to see the weird, gnarly pseudo Minions Mario crossover thing.
Right.
That is happening.
And like how weird it gets, because like that original shot looked like something like a sales pitch.
There was a cuss word in it.
Yeah.
It was very
like Mario with his gun. I mean,
right? Yeah, with a gun.
Yeah.
They've spent like decades making sure that those characters never had guns unless they shot like water.
It's a new Nintendo. Well, we're going to find out. We're going to head over to the Ubisoft press conference. We'll be back in a little bit with you guys reacting to it. The press conference is going to run, you know, probably around what I've heard, like about an hour to an hour and 10 minutes. So significantly shorter. Last year, Ubisoft ran almost 2 hours. So get ready. Check out Ubisoft live right here on YouTube.
Hello, everyone, and thank you. We've always wondered what could happen if our crazy rabbits were unleashed upon the world of Mario. Today, the dream is reality. And to talk about this unexpected encounter, it is my great honor to welcome a very special guest, someone I truly admire. Please. Ladies and gentlemen, Miyamoto-san. Thank you for coming. We are so happy to have you today. So what have you brought with you?
Well,
what did you bring?
This is a life-size replica of one of the weapons from this game.
Wow. Cool, I'm sure you love it.
I brought one for you.
Okay. Oh, thank you. Wow. Woo. So let's take a picture.
Bill-san, he can help our conversation. これほら、ね、ゴーストリーコンのとちょっと違うでしょ?
These are a little bit different from the weapons you see in Ghost Recon.
Yeah, very different weapons for very different worlds. This one is, I think, very effective in the world of Mario and Rabbit. So, should do well. I'm so proud of Ubisoft's long-standing collaboration with Nintendo. You know, from the DS to the Wii, and more recently for the impressive launch of the Switch. You know, it has always been, we have always been inspired by Nintendo and by all the great work you have been able to do.
そうですね、本当にいつも UBI さんにはね、協力いただいてありがとうございます。
Yes, thank you very much for all the work that we've been able to do together over the years with Ubisoft.
もうほら、出会ってから25年ぐらい経つんですよね。
I mean, Eves, it's already been about 25 years since you and I first met.
で、E3 とかに来るたんびに UBI さんのブースを僕は訪問して、でビデオで撮ってもらって、社内のビデオに登場したりしてましたね。
And every year at E3, you're kind enough to invite me to your booth, and we get to take lots of pictures and videos, and I've even recorded messages for Ubisoft employees in the past.
そのたんびにね、なんか UBI の開発の皆さんのすごい任天堂ゲーム愛みたいなものを感じてきました。
And so over the years, I've always felt the deep, heartfelt passion that Ubisoft developers have for Nintendo and its characters.
それは一方でね、僕は同じ開発者としてライバルですから、こう戦う姿勢で頑張ってきたんですけど。
But on the other hand, because we're both software developers, we've also looked at each other as kind of rivals and tried to see who could make the best software.
けどまあイブさんからラビッツの人形をもらったりいろいろして、僕の席の前にもラビッツがいっぱいあるんですけども、そういうラビッツのヒューモアはすごく理解してました。
But of course, I've known the Rabbids characters for many years, and I have many Rabbids figures decorating my desk. And so I've always been a fan of the characters and their humor.
だから今回の話があった時にラビッツがどんなユーモアをこうゲームの中で見せてくれるかすごい楽しみにしてたんですね。
So since this project first started, I've been very excited to see what kind of humor the rabbits could bring to the Mario world.
でただダビデさんに会った時にね、ダビデさんに一つだけお願いしたんです。
So when I met Davide-san, who is the creative director of this game, yes. When I met Davide-san, I had just one condition for this project.
絶対こうジャンプするゲームとかそういうプラットフォームゲームじゃなくて、マリオで今まで作ったことのないジャンルのゲームを作ってほしいとお願いしました。
I said, whatever you do, don't try to make a jump game or a Mario platformer. Try to make a Mario game that has never been made before.
よかったですね。
And it's great.
And I can tell you, it was an exciting, very exciting challenge for all our teams. And I think we've done something you will love. So, thank you very much for giving us the chance to perform on this game.
はい、本当にこうヨーロッパで作るとこんなものができるのかとかね。それからUBI さんやっぱりアクションゲームをちゃんと作ってる会社なんで、こう単性のストラテジーゲームというもののちゃんとこうテンポのいいゲームが出来上がりました。
And so, of course, because the game is being made in Europe, it has a very unique flavor to it. And of course, Ubisoft is very good at making action games, but this game in particular has a great layer of strategy and tactics to it, but with a very good pace.
Yeah, no, it's going to be fresh, actually. So now let's welcome Xavier, the producer of the game, and he will show us the game. So thanks again. Thanks again, Miyamoto. Thank you. You're welcome.
Finally, we can talk about this project. So we've been working on this game for more than 3 years now, and to be at E3 today on this stage is just super exciting. So what is this game exactly? So Mario plus Rabbids Kingdom Battle is a tactical adventure exclusive for the Nintendo Switch, and let's check right away some gameplay. So the rabbits have been teleported into the Mushroom Kingdom, and it made the world completely unstable and chaotic. So Mario, as a true hero, wants to save the day. But this time, with some new friends. And at first, they don't really know each other, but in the end, they will form this dream team that will potentially save the Mushroom Kingdom. And as the game is a turn-based tactical adventure game, combat is a really big part of the concept. So you'll fight wave after wave of rabbit that somehow turn bad. And what we see here is just the very beginning of the game, so it will be perfect to talk about the combat basics. So the two flags you see on the screen here is to tell you this is a battlefield zone. So you'll switch from exploration mode to battle mode. The blue zone is your zone of movement, so you move anywhere you want in that zone. But you can also use battlefield ingredients, such as covers for protection. So Rabbit Luigi here using half cover or full cover. And we also have what we call team jump. So by jumping on your teammates, you can expand your zone of movement. So here, Rabbit Peach, using Mario, she's able to flank the enemy. So you can also attack the enemy behind that cover and expose them by destroying that cover, which is really interesting in terms of strategy because for the next turns, you'll be open for attacks. And last but not least, techniques. So from defensive ones, like Rabbid Peach shield boost, or offensive ones, like Mario's Hero Sight. He's able to attack the enemy even if it's not his turn, as soon as the enemy moves. So this is a very core aspect of the game itself. So you mix and match attack options, movement abilities, techniques, but we also have other ingredients such as pipes, rabbit pipes. So those give you a good move to flank the enemy. So here, for example, Rabbit Luigi goes into the pipe, out of the pipe, dash the enemy, goes for Mario, team jump, land behind the enemy in one single movement sequence, and then finish off the enemy. And what we see here is actually explosive cover. So those have many type of super effects, and this one was a push effect. So you can push heroes or enemies out of the boundaries. So again, this is just a glimpse into the basics of the game. And as you progress into the game, you have more tactic tools. You'll be able to do more combo setups. You'll be able to use different type of heroes, different type of weapons, in order to battle your way through the kingdom. Thank you. Thank you. And that's just a glimpse into the game itself. But first and foremost, this is a project done with passion, with our hearts. So it would not exist otherwise. So we just can't wait for you guys to try the game at E3 this week. For those who are not at E3, you'll see online coverage, videos, and surprises. So have a great conference. Have a great E3. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Ashraf Ismail, game director for Assassin's Creed Origins. I've waited a long time to say that. Almost 10 years ago, I, as many of you, fell in love with a game. That game took us to the Third Crusade. And we fell in love again when it took us to the Italian Renaissance. Over the years, this amazing series has taken us to the American Revolution, the French Revolution, Victorian London, and of course, to the Republic of Pirates. For the 10-year anniversary of Assassin's Creed, for our fans, for ourselves, and for all newcomers, we wanted to go back, very far back, to show how it all began. Since Black Flag, over the last 3.5 years, we have poured our energy, our talent, our passion into bringing the land of pyramids, pharaohs, and mummies to life, to bring ancient Egypt to life. Now, Egypt challenged us. It fundamentally challenged us to reinvent what it means to be Assassin's Creed. And over the next few days, you will see, play, and feel this reinvented experience. I am deeply honored and proud to be here representing the amazing work of a phenomenal team, and thrilled to finally be able to show you this beast we have been building. Without further ado, here is a taste of Egypt.
Flash across your screen, got you in the air. 15 minutes of freedom, still 3 bits of man. Still realize your chain, yeah. All my blood is in there.
Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. As an extra treat, let's check in with home base, where we're going to get a glimpse of what you'll see right after the UB conference.
Hey there, folks. Chris Waters here at the home base with Hanny Duong and Carl Lua, producer on Assassin's Creed Origins at Ubisoft Singapore. Carl's here to give us a look at the gameplay of the game. We're going to be entering the open world. We've got a ton more to show you, but Carl, kick it off. Give us a little taste here.
Yes, so here we are in the open world of Egypt. This is the demo that we will be showing on the show floor here at E3. Bayek is riding into the Fayum, one of the regions in Egypt, the most southernmost region. It's a beautiful area. We see we've come in from the desert, moving towards this Lake Moris. And let's have a little exploration around here using our Eagle scenery.
It's sunny on the lake and it's sunny on the monitor here, but folks, this looks really good. It's running on an Xbox One X, and we'll be giving you the gameplay feed after the show. We've got 30 minutes of that coming up, but let's see if we can see from a bird's eye view what Seinu is up to.
Yeah, so Seinu is looking into this military camp and tagging a few enemies here. After the show, we will infiltrate this camp and take it out either through stealth or combat or perhaps ranged weaponry.
All right, if you guys want to see more of this, be sure to tune in right after the conference. Chris and I and Carl here will be right here. Ash will be joining us as well. You won't want to miss it.
That 30 minutes live gameplay feed is coming up after the show, but for now, it's back to the stage and on with the excitement.
That's it for now. Thank you. Thank you. So don't forget that you can watch this demo in its entirety after the conference, live stream from our home base. And for those of you here at E3, please come to the Ubisoft booth where you can live this new experience of Assassin's Creed. Thank you very much.
Hey, here's your chance.
Get our new hotshot driver with a promising career dominate off-road racing on his way to the top.
Oh, there's a skid. Oh, and there's a wreck. The cars are piling up. Our champion swerves around it brilliantly. Now that's the skill that wins no matter what the engine, no matter what the track. He's this season's undisputed motorsports champion, coming out of nowhere to rise to the top.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. 2 years back, the crew took the driving genre out there to the big, wide, open world of the USA. Thanks to our players, we have taken this iconic vision to the next level. They showed us what they liked and what they wanted to see in the futures. Now, it's time to take it way beyond driving. I am Stéphane Bellet, Creative Director. This is The Crew 2. Yeah, thank you. Thank you. Here in the US, motorsports are louder, bigger, edgier than anywhere else in the world. Drivers and fans meet across the country and celebrate a common passion for all things motorized. Now's your chance to join in. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to The Crew 2, home of Modern Nation.
People talk to me, but nothing ever hits. So people talk to me.
In the heart of the city, street racers prove their skills, skidding on rooftops, burning asphalt, and tuning their rides. Forge your own path off-road through the striking beauty of nature. Tame, unpredictable waves on the open ocean, rapid waters, or narrow rivers. Fearless pilots rule the skies, spin between buildings, through the clouds, among stunning, stunning perspectives. Thank you. All across the country, high-octane contests await you. Take the lead on modernation. You've had a glimpse of the Crew 2. Register now for beta access or play the demo at the booth. Experience TC2 for yourself. Enjoy the ride. Thank you.
We all started as one team. We all wanted to be superheroes for the same reason. You're a traitor, Tweak, and now you're with a group of super traitors. This was started by you. We aren't the ones who walked out of the fucking franchise, Mysterion. Why would the Freedom Pals help us? We send a spy, someone in our group who pretends to want to switch sides and join Freedom Pals. Somebody who they don't know very well. All is fair in love and war, Freedom Pussies. You fucking animal.
You've got problems, new kid. Whatever you did last night got a lot of people's attention. Bad people. If you need information, just know you can rely on Call Girl.
Who the fuck is that? So I guess now any fucking asshole thinks they can be a superhero. We're gonna rip you apart. Dude, Mysterion is pissed at you, new kid. Toolshed.
Toolshed is a gadgeteer class visionary archetype.
And a butt-fucking traitor. You must listen to me. Get out of my head, Timmy. Your franchise is going nowhere. Face the truth, Eric. You guys are kind of douchebags. He just called us douchebags in my mind. He did? Southpaw, the fractured but home.
Available October 17th.
There was this sort of synergy of, well, we're looking to do something interesting in VR, and we've got this division, and you're looking to sort of bring, you know, what sense you have of storytelling within, and put that into the context of VR.
You can, for the first time as a player, feel like you are in a movie.
That's a really good word for it. We want you to take off the gear and still feel unsettled.
Whilst working with Ubisoft, we stumbled across some fascinating research that had begun in the late 90s. Essentially, neuroscientists had figured out a way to upload brain data, trauma, emotions, memories, to the digital space. Now, we've gone and taken the next logical step, and with Ubisoft, we've recreated in virtual reality one such test subject. So we'd like you to come and join us and experience the Walter test case for yourself. Again.
What you're experiencing is a recorded consciousness. It's not unlike watching a movie, so no matter how real it may seem, it can't hurt you. You are completely safe. You are completely safe.
And now, I'm happy to share a new surprise with you. Building on the legacy of one of our most popular worlds, the super talented teams of Ubisoft Singapore came up with something really, really unique. So I want you to see that and enjoy. Thank you.
Men from all over the world sail the treacherous trade routes of the Indian Ocean. The riches in their holds fuel their dreams of power and fortune, while whetting the appetites of those they fear most. Pirates.
After 70 years, that what he goes there for is to unlock the door. No, we're never gonna survive. High and black.
6 knots, sir! 6 knots! So damn slow!
120 days. That's how long the average pirate survived a lawless life on the seas during the golden age of piracy. I'm Justin Farron, the creative director for Skull and Bones, and this is your chance to not just survive, but to climb the food chain and surpass the legend of every pirate who ever sailed the high seas. Since bringing innovative naval combat to Assassin's Creed, we at Ubisoft Singapore have set out to bring you the ultimate pirate experience. A tactical action game where we take that naval combat to the next level, mastering the ocean and its winds at the helm of ships armed to the teeth. Skull and Bones takes place in a shared systemic world where you can sail solo or form a gang of pirates with your friends, and together terrorize the trade routes of the Indian Ocean. Season after season, you'll collaborate and compete with other bloodthirsty players, even execute ruthless betrayals in order to become the ultimate pirate kingpin. Now I'm proud to share with you the Loot Hunt, one of Skull and Bones' 5 versus 5 team-based PvP modes. Right on, right? We've just received intel that merchant convoys rich with treasure are sailing just off the coast of Madagascar. But beware, there are other pirates also looking to plunder the PvP disputed waters of the Indian Ocean.
The Priscilla Shallows of Madagascar. Located on the cusp of a bustling trade route, it is the perfect place for an ambush. Here is our gang of pirates, the Raiders, going head-to-head with a gang of rival players, the Cutthroats. Victory goes to the team with the most loot at the end of the hunt.
Are we ready for a hunt?
Knowing how to sail with the wind is a pirate's most precious skill. Use the winds to increase your speed or to position yourself for tactical advantage in battle. To reap the most rewards, it is best to split up, some going inland, others keeping to the open sea. Each warship has unique strengths. The frigate's hull is reinforced, its arsenal equipped with numerous culverin cannons. The brigantine is devastating up close, with a battering ram designed to break any resistance. The sloop of war kills from afar, with its crippling long-ranged mortars and precise long 9 cannons.
Sail! Flying hostile colors! All sail! Ride the wind! All hands on deck! Position fixed!
Open fire!
Nothing will save you now! Brace for attack! Woo! Drown, you soggy nutmegs!
Don't let bloodlust cloud your purpose. You're here for the loot, and so are your rivals.
Store the goods, then back to your station.
The team that escapes with the most loot claims victory. Searching for more targets on the horizon, our sloop of war spots a rival pirate ship further inland. With its heavily reinforced hull, our frigate swoops in to save the day, bearing the brunt of the damage.
Another day, another victim!
Speed, Mr. Mercy! Vamos con todo!
Our gang of pirates is now taking aim at the frigate, and it will take team coordination to take her down.
Fuego!
Hold tight, lads! That ship's badly damaged!
They're killing! We can take their ship!
With the enemy ship's broadside now vulnerable, our frigate rushes in to board her.
No quarter! Taste of blackened silver.
Fancy snorting some fish piss?
We've got pirate hunters! It's the Rock Fleet! Man au war! Rockets away!
Pirate hunters have been sent in, signaling the end of the hunt. They target the pirates with the most stolen loot.
Time to make our escape, Captain! Or we are good for the news! They're firing mortars!
Full tilt, Silbo, full tilt!
The pirate hunter defenses are so strong that the only option is escape. The brigantine is sacrificing herself to buy time for the frigate, who carries the most loot. The frigate now needs the force to make its escape through the reefs.
Captain, let's make for the reefs!
Successful pirates know when to run, with their hulls full and the wind at their backs.
Thank you all very much. I'd like to invite you to play the loot hunt at the Ubisoft booth at E3. And please register for our live phases online. Oh, and one thing I forgot to mention. The world of Skull and Bones is one that evolves. When you act, it reacts.
That if I did not kiss the girls, my lips would grow a moldy. Way ho away, we'll haul away.
너에게 날 맞추지 마. 나에게 더 바라지 마. 거품처럼 커진 맘을 버블 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 팝 버블 버블 팝 있는 그대로 생각해봐. 보이는 대로 날 바라봐줘. 거품처럼 커진 맘을 버블 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 팝 버블 버블 sorry, I'm not the most pretty. I'll live forever, sing like Whitney. but I still wanna dance with somebody. I just wanna dance with somebody. I just wanna dance with somebody. I just wanna dance with somebody. It could be anybody. Tell me, are you that somebody? Don't matter who you are, just let me the way I just wanna dance with somebody. I just wanna dance with somebody. Ooh, with somebody. Hey!
Hey everyone, I'm BB Rexa, and Just Dance 2018 is out this October on all consoles. Bye!
You use it as a telephone. You use it as a camera. It's your music player, your flashlight, calculator, and GPS navigation device. But now, finally, the most high-tech company in the world has unlocked the mobile phone's true potential so that it can do what it was truly meant to do.
We are playing Cowboys and Indians. Hey, new kid, we need you to come play with us. Put on some cowboy shit and meet us outside. And bring your phone. Whoa, we're playing Cowboys and Indians, dickhole. Inuits are technically Native Americans. This new kid puts me to shame. Rip these guys a new asshole, new kid.
Phone destroyer!
Atlas, jewel of the Pleiades. Nova took us to the stars. Each new world more incredible than the last. We had no idea what was waiting for us. The Legion. It consumes everything in its path. They've never used Starlink before. Go show them what it can do.
Okay, let's do this. Come on. I got it.
Chase, how's it going?
Breaking atmosphere. Let's even the odds.
Judge, we need to buy time for me to jumpstart the engine.
They are resisting ice barrage. Linking fire loadout.
We're up against impossible odds, but together we will adapt and overcome.
Hi, I'm Matt Rose, producer at Ubisoft Toronto. Like many of you, I grew up in the 80s, obsessed with sci-fi, animation, comics, and of course, all the really cool toys. At Ubisoft Toronto, We built a team with a dream of bringing those amazing childhood memories back to life for a new generation. Starlink Battle for Atlas allows you to take control of a team of star pilots in a massive, open, living star system, fighting to save Atlas from the Forgotten Legion. Build your custom starship, and then adapt to new challenges on the fly. Link extra armor and heavy weapons to take on a huge Legion Prime. Search for ancient secrets lost on the worlds of Atlas, or outrun outlaws through an asteroid field. Freedom is at the core of Starlink Battle for Atlas. Collect your way with both physical Starship collectibles and digital versions available, and even take your game on the go using the power of Nintendo Switch. Visit starlinkgame.com for more information, and stay tuned for many more surprises over the coming months. Thank you.
Hi, I'm Rebecca Coutaz. I'm the studio director at Ubisoft Annecy. It's a pleasure for me to be back on stage after our announcement at E3 last year. And we have had, since then, a full year of support and continuous development of Steep. Since the very beginning of this project, we have been working with athletes, and we have always been impressed by their passion and dedication. We learned how one champion spent 300 days a year on a trampoline to practice for that perfect landing. We learned how others make more than 6 million turns to practice for the 15 they have to race in competition. These athletes, they travel to the world to train with the best, to compete with the strongest, and to challenge themselves with the most experienced and skilled coaches. It's truly a level of passion and dedication that goes well beyond our everyday lives. And when you talk to the very best of these men and women, you realize that there is something they always have in back of their minds at all times. It's a dream that takes years of preparation for just one go at that unforgettable moment. This December, with our first Steep expansion, this is a journey you will take. Enjoy.
Child, you would wait and watch from far away, but you always knew that you'd be the one to work while they all play. You'd lay awake and scheme of all the things that you would change, but it was just a dream.
Hi, my name is Dan Hay, and I'm the executive producer of Far Cry the brand, as well as the creative director of Far Cry 5. I'd like to introduce you to Hope County, Montana. Vast, beautiful, rugged. A place where people don't even lock their front door anymore. But that's how it used to be. Today, Hope County's been overrun by a fanatical cult. You find yourself trapped deep in cult territory, cut off from the rest of the world. They've closed the roads. There's no cell phone signal, no 911. People are fucking scared. I had to say it. And just up ahead, the small town of Falls End has been completely overrun. If you're gonna survive, you and your guns for hire are gonna need to save it. But to do that, well, you're gonna need to raise some hell.
We got piggies. Town looks like a war zone. Where do you want me? Water tower, got it. I'm in position.
You will be cleansed. You will confess your sins. You will atone. For only then will you walk in the light of our Father and be delivered.
Boom, boom, motherfuckers.
Boom, 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 boom. Bang, 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 bang. Boom, 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 boom.
Behind you.
Bang, 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 bang.
Gonna need more help.
I love the way you walk, and I love the way you talk. When you walk that walk, and you talk that talk, you knocks me out off my feet.
Looks like you could use some help.
Boom, 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 boom.
Target
bang,
a
bang,
fucking
bang,
quad.
Boom, 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 boom.
Where's your master? I don't deal with domesticated.
Hey, the fuck? I ain't got no master, but I do have your little toy.
Show me the idol. Show me the Redeemer.
Here you go, mate.
Oh, hey,
Yo, hand it over. I got a hot date who don't do late.
Monkey's got a date.
Mwah.
What? What?
What? That's Swiss fucking chocolate, pig. Bon appetito.
I want every fucking cop in this fucking city after that fucking bastard!
Grab my chassis, Noxie!
Easy peasy, bro.
Shit! Hang on!
Bang, bang, motherfuckers! Fuck me.
Damn! Do it!
It's about bloody time. Let's see what we've got. Moksha. Just as Yama described it. True freedom lies beyond.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Thank you. First of all, I want to say a big thank you to all the teams who worked very, very, very hard on creating all this world. Again, thank you to all these teams behind us. I want also to say thank you to Yves, with all my heart. Thanks, Yves, for making this happen. This is just amazing. And also, a special thanks to the fans of Beyond Good and Evil for sticking with us for so long.
It's about bloody time.
15 years. Almost.
So welcome to System 3. Our story takes place before the birth of Jade, in a multi-ethnic, multicultural human society in a distant solar system. It is a time when corporations create hybrids in their labs and enslave them to colonize the stars in order to compete for power and cosmic resources. With our crew of crazy and unforgettable characters, We fight in the name of freedom and the right to determine our own fate among the stars. And we will helm massive star-faring vessels through territories as spectacular as they are dangerous.
We've been working very hard just on the technology during 3 years. And today, we have a seamless online playground where we can travel across space at the speed of light. We can explore mysterious cities and discover unknown lands by ourselves or with friends. And we want you to participate in the making of this great adventure. Join our Space Monkey program. Today, and help us make Beyond Good and Evil a world that will challenge us and bring us together for thousand adventure, thrills, and fun. And please, Eve, just join us. This is. Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, congratulations, you guys. You know, Gabrielle and Michelle, you've done a fantastic job. It's amazing what you have been able to achieve, and you and I and all the teams have the power of creating games that will amaze all the gamers. And I think video games can help us to grow and to get better. So thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you.
So now, I would like to thank everyone here in the room and those who are watching us from home. Thank you for listening today, and thank you for playing our games. So to all the teams at Ubisoft, thank you for your incredible imagination and enthusiasm. All of us here, we wish you all a lot of fun playing games this year. So thank you very much, and have a great E3.
Okay, wait, look, most importantly, it's not over.
Wow, what an amazing press conference from Ubisoft there. A big reveal, Beyond Good and Evil 2. Jeff Keighley back here with YouTube live at E3. Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot is actually driving over here right now to our set. His first interview will be with us live in just a few minutes, and a lot of those teams will be coming by. So we got lots of questions for him. I'm back with Danny, Rocco, Tina, and Jessica Chobot is also joining us now. Let's start with you, Chobot.
Yeah.
What do you think? There was some pretty cool news there.
Yeah, that definitely exceeded my expectations so far. I think this has been my favorite conference of the show.
I would agree.
I love the fact that they had the developers front and center and really celebrated them, and then showing them off as how like kind of a family they've become in our team. I love that, love that, love that. I also really, obviously, you know, the out there, Beyond Good and Evil 2. Yeah, like. Oh my God! I was pretty stoked for Far Cry 5, and then I saw that and I was like, oh, okay, like I'm on board 110% for that game. Yeah. That might be the game I'm actually most excited coming out at E3 so far.
Yeah.
I'm not really expecting anything to push that, but we'll see.
No, and it was a cool, you know, they did that trailer for that game, I don't know, it was probably like 8 years ago, and that was sort of felt like it was a CG thing, so I'm curious when he was here, like, how early is that in development? I'm sure it's far off, but the fact that they teased it again, and it was also like, it was a really tight press conference, like just over an hour. Last year, Ubisoft was pretty bloated. It was like 2 hours long. I mean, Miyamoto opening the show, Beyond Good and Evil 2, and that new Ubisoft Toronto
I mean, I'm
star.
jumping on the hype train. I'm so for it. And I love the fact that Nintendo is finally unlocking their IPs for other people to play with, because I think that's just going to like open the door for so many cool games in the future with the characters that, you know, I grew up with, and now I can like have my son come play with me now too. So I'm just really happy overall with that performance. Yeah.
What'd you think, Tina?
Yeah, I mean, Beyond Good and Evil 2 is just the mic drop of the show for them.
Yeah.
But even outside of that, like, I don't think anyone was expecting anything of the Crew 2, but that looked pretty good. The Skull and Bones game also is basically like Assassin's Creed minus the, well, it's Black Flag minus the Assassin's Creed, which I think is what everyone wanted that game to be. So they had a couple stunners there for sure, and they did a good job this year.
Rocco, you got sort of a digital influencer in there.
Yves Guillemot, he's the new
letdown.
Letdown?
I thought it was a letdown.
Yeah.
I couldn't count one JRPG at all, and no Tobuscus. I mean, completely MIA. I feel like they haven't really lived up to what they did years ago, you know, and so I don't know.
You're kind of down on it.
Sad.
That's all right.
I mean, Beyond Good and Evil could be fun, but I just feel like without an influencer,
I made Totino's pizza rolls.
Pizza rolls! Yeah, I'm kind of like, what do I do with this?
Lost.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah, I just could have used like, you know, the epic meal.
Meal man. Exactly. Danny?
I can't tell you how many times I've come to E3 and asked when are they going to make a Mario XCOM game.
Yeah.
But finally, they've come good on that. I don't think, like, I was expecting it to be some sort of like party game mishmash thing, or like some, you know, throwaway fun little thing you'll pay for like a week. But they're making like a bona fide, like turn-based strategy game with Mario.
Crazy.
Like,
right?
who came up with this?
Yeah.
It's
No,
like,
and it seems like they're in depth. Miyamoto involved. Like, that's pretty cool to have him out there. And it sounds like he's been collaborating with the team a lot on it. So yeah, front to back, a ton of news. There was also that new Ubisoft Toronto IP Star.
Yeah.
Oh, Starflight? Was that what it was?
Starflight, I think.
Star Ocean.
Starlink?
Star Ocean.
It's Starflight, Starlight, which
No Man's Skylander?
Exactly. Yeah.
Oh, nice.
Yeah,
All
it
right.
looked a little bit like that. So that's another new announcement. So Ubisoft pushing in a bunch of directions with two big games this year, Assassins, Far Cry, and then you add in all these other titles. That was a lot of stuff. And I got to say, by far, I think my favorite press conference so far in terms of, you know, they dropped some big bombs in terms of big news. So how would you get, what grade would you give it, Danny?
Yeah, I don't know. I think that was probably the best. Although this year does feel like this strange like interim year where there's a lot of like nothing going on and a lot of sequels and stuff. I think what I like about Ubisoft is they have this like incredible breadth for like a developer of their size. Like they even have sports games like Steep.
Yep.
And you know the fan
South
favorites.
Park
Right. Two South Park games, a mobile game coming out as well. So yeah, I thought I enjoyed it a lot. It was pretty much like all the staple of stuff that you'd expect from Ubisoft with a couple of nice little.
So what grade would you give it?
Like, are we talking one upgrades like A's, B's, C's?
Yep,
Can I get out of 10?
ABCs.
Yeah, give it a B+.
B+. Rocco, what kind of grade would you give it?
I'm gonna go D. Just Dance was cool, so I give him a couple points, and then it's coming to the Wii, which is that was unexpected. That was the biggest surprise for me. But still no Cold Fear 2. We keep coming back every year, and they're not really, you know. So D for me.
D for Rocco. Tina?
Well, with the combination of the big surprises and some of those random other surprises too, like Elijah Wood's VR game.
Oh, Tina's going to go higher, it sounds like.
Yeah, it reminded me of like a Black Mirror episode, a very specific one, if you've seen it. But with those things considered and docking it a little for Just Dance, I'm sorry, I'm going to go against your opinion there. But I'll give it like an A-. That was really great.
A-, yeah, all right. Jabba?
Yeah, I'm fully jumping onto the hype train for this one, especially compared to everything else up to this point at E3. So I'm gonna give it, and with how like you had said, how the breadth that they hit everything and like made sure that all the consoles have something good coming towards them, I'm gonna give it an A.
Wow.
Yeah.
All right, a full on A.
Because
now I gotta
don't
say,
give a fuck. That's why.
no, it
An
was
A.
like you think of how many games they announced there, especially compared to EA. I mean, EA had Anthem, but they didn't have so many other games.
Right.
Xbox, didn't really have any new first-party stuff to talk about. There were some big new announcements. Gets me excited for what Sony might have tonight.
Oh yeah, I am dying out of curiosity
they always
right now.
have incredible games and hopefully a couple cool surprises. All right, well, thank you so much, guys. We are going to find out what you guys thought online. Melanie Mack, what are people saying using the hashtag YouTubeE3?
Thank you, Jeff. I am so excited, and I have to apologize to you guys in advance if I'm a little shaky because I'm still hyperventilating a little bit from Beyond Good and Evil 2. It has been so long, and we've wanted this so bad, so thank you so much, Ubi. I remember playing back on the GameCube, so it's like, it's here. It's finally happening. So with it being a prequel, too, it's like, whoa. I saw everybody in chat, and I was right along with them thinking, wait, what's going on? I don't see Jade. This is Beyond Good and Evil, right? I mean, they wouldn't have another pig character, right? And it's like, yes, They delivered, but of course there were a lot of other games and a lot of other things to talk about, so I've got to compose myself and start talking about these things. So right here, Dragon Sparto. Super excited. Says, what a time to be alive. Miyamoto right there. Rabbids and Mario. How epic is that? And then the Just Dance. Ubisoft E3 right now. That was great. That was great seeing that panda. And they're like, wait, I look away from the screen for 3 seconds, and now there's a dancing panda bear. I thought it was epic. It was great. And then right here, have they actually just ripped the exact same sea chants from Assassin's Creed into this? Now that's interesting with Skull and Bones. I think it looked awesome. I thought the female captain was pretty rad, I gotta say that. But, you know, back in the day with Assassin's Creed 3 when they first brought us the naval battles, I did some demoing back then for Ubisoft with that, and they kept telling me, like, don't ram into the ships, you want to shoot them with the cannons. And it's like, okay, fine. But yeah, so many people really enjoyed those naval battles, so it made sense for them to actually make a game with that. So I think it's pretty rad. So right here, we have, seriously though, is running on Black Flag engine. The gameplay looks identical. Hey, if it ain't broke, don't fix it, man. And so far, Ubisoft has impressed me. They are having a strong conference with very little awkward moments. That's right. Awkward moments are fun, though. You know, you can't hate on all the awkward moments. So it says, I'm freaking out. Oh my God, I can't. Holy Beyond Good and Evil 2, I'm crying. I agree. All right. Well, the hype is real. We're all excited. Please make sure you're sending me your tweets. Use hashtag YouTubeE3. I want to see them all. Back to you, Jeff.
Awesome. All right. Well, thanks very much, Mel Mac. It seems like people online were excited as well by Ubisoft. So great job to them. And Ubisoft CEO Yves Guillemot will be with us shortly. But right now, I'm joined by my good buddies Tim Schafer and Greg Rice from Double Fine Productions, looking very stylish.
Thank you. We decided to go all red and with a pillow.
I was going to say, you blend into our set.
Exactly.
It all
Camouflage.
Yes. So we are so excited to talk to you guys about all the things that Double Fine is doing. You guys have done such a great job in terms of, you know, tapping to the fan community with Amnesia Fortnite and other projects. But one I know that you were talking about last week a little bit to the backers, and I know you're going to tell us a bit here, is Psychonauts 2. We announced at the Game Awards a couple of years ago.
Yeah.
You guys are deep into development of that. Everything that I've seen so far, visually and everything, just gets me really excited. So how far are you into developing the next Great Raz adventure?
Right in the middle of production. We have a new Raz that we released to our backers and showed them some of his new moves and new look.
Yes.
He's got a new outfit. And yeah, we're developing some of the first, still early, and then we're making our first few brains. You know, Psychonauts is a game about going into people's heads, and so it's one crazy brain after another. So we're just doing the first few ones of those and doing his new powers and new abilities. And we'll be sharing that along the way with our backers as we go, but anyone can look at our Fig page and see all the new stuff.
I know, you guys, you know, working with Fig, working with Starbreeze, lots of people involved, Greg, in bringing this to life. If folks are interested in kind of following the journey of Psychonauts 2, where can they go? What can they do?
They can look at our Fig page.
Fig.co, at Double Fine. Twitter is pretty active usually, but we're a ways off. We've got still some time, but we'll be showing more.
Years to go.
People can still follow the campaign. They can still back it. There's Slacker backers now, so that people can join up.
Slacker backers.
Sign up. Yeah. We still
finally
have that.
got on the train.
Yeah. We still have some slots open in our summer camp.
Yes.
The high backer level